Hey everyone, welcome to Dialog Choices podcast. Andrew just made me laugh really hard with a question.
So I will re-ask it. My question is, how much stamina do you need for a hike? So for context, the hike is not up a mountain. I'm not trying to go
Wait, you mean a
anywhere
walk?
crazy. Not like a walk. Like it's a trail that goes. It has a steep. It has like an incline, but not a whatever you. We're not mountain climbing. That's not.
You know what? There's probably an app for that, where it's like ranked.
I just
from
remember.
A.
So this is specific, but like it made me laugh because I think in like 2019 or something, I told you I was going on a hike with some of my friends or something, or I went on a hike or something, and you're like that's a thing people just do. They go on hikes. Like I don't get it. What's the appeal? What's it for? Like what function does it serve? Like I had to explain it to you like an alien what a hike is as a concept because you couldn't glom onto any aspect of it. So
I still don't get
just
it. I'm just
fucking no context, being like, so how much stamina do you need to go on a hike? It was like destroyed me.
I don't know. Like I've never done this. I've never.
You never like walked on not the sidewalk.
Yeah, sure. Like when I was a kid, but I don't know. It's been
grown-ups don't do that.
I mean, if you're doing,
if
you're doing anything meaningful, then like you will be confronted with the frailty of your adult body and how it has just gotten worse over the years.
So that's the thing. It's like I'm nervous about
and the
like
ways that you've actively made it worse.
I want to commit to. I want to commit to going on a hike, but I don't want to commit to failing on going on a hike. Like that's not the goal.
That's why.
What kind of hike is this? Like, is it
like
just like Yosemite, like uphill, or
no? Shit. Where
is
the
it
hell
just a long
was it?
walk?
Yeah, basically, it's like up in the. It's close to like on your way to Tahoe. There's like this little national park area, and it has like a couple of trails around there. And so some of the trails are like,
so you don't have to worry about that, and you're only going to a colder place, so you don't have to worry about the heat so much. So you pretty much just need to bring
I'm not worried.
a bunch of water.
Okay.
You always want to at least bring like a liter of water whenever you go like anywhere, basically, because you just don't want to like accidentally ruin your body. And
bring sugary foods.
Bring some snacks.
Yeah, because if you fall off the cliff in terms of energy, then it becomes really exhausting.
Like unless you're going with some kind of like nightmare enthusiast, they're gonna like drag you or leave you behind or whatever. Like it should just be a chill time.
Yeah, no, it's not like that. It's definitely just
nature
let's walk.
Air. It'll be crisp and full of pine trees because it's in the Tahoe area.
That's the idea, is that it's supposed to just be, hey, let's like not walk through a city.
Yeah.
Like, okay. This sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, it's actually a really good thing to do this year. I wish we had been doing it more times than we have. But it's one of the only things you can get away with right now while passing almost no people along the way.
Yeah. And so, but again, like, you know, you look at the trail and it goes like, all right, this is a 1.5 mile or like a 3 mile trail. Like,
you just dress appropriately for the weather and bring sunblock, because there's always sun no matter what time of year it is or region you're in, and be prepared to probably end up shedding layers as you go.
Mm-hmm.
What? Shedding layers?
Well, yeah, because you
get worked up. Like, fuck, I'm getting hot in this. I thought this was the right thing, but it's never the right. It's never right.
Like, admittedly, you know, it's been a whole year where I haven't really physically done much, except sit more than I normally do. Like at work, I actually, when we were at the office, I actually moved a lot because I had to keep going to people's specific cubicles, and so I had to keep running around the office. And so there's actually like a lot of activity I got. And so when we, you know, all went remote and were stagnant in the building in my own home, it was like, well, I go out twice a day to take Shadow out, but that's it. Like I'm not taking any.
You're also really light, so there's a lot less.
I am very light, which is helpful. So my strategy
when we went
so
to
far,
Yosemite, there was a noticeable divide where, what is it? It was Max, Stephanie, and my brother just were effortlessly just going around, even though like there's no like athletes in the group or anything. It's just the fact that they have no body fat.
I don't know about Max. Max seems pretty, at least physically familiar. Like he does move around a lot though.
Yeah, but it's like they're mostly just people that just have no weight because they never put on any weight, and like there was a noticeable like immediately the party divided into two separate groups just based on BMI basically, because it's just so much more work to get around when you're like climbing up Yosemite mountains and stuff like that.
Yeah, see, I don't want to. That's too scary to me. I don't think I want to like climb anything yet, because that sounds. Well, it sounds like a lot of
like climbing. I mean stairs, not fucking like mountain climbing.
That's a lot. That's a lot of ask. All right, I go up one flight of stairs twice a day, and that's about it. No, I guess 4 times a day because I go down and then up. But either way, that's still a lot of stairs.
You wouldn't even do. You wouldn't even go out that much if you didn't have a dog.
I would not. No, that's the problem. I mean, granted, I don't smoke anymore, which is arguably a lot better of a position for me. So at least I'm not. Yeah. I'm not being stagnant and smoking, which would be just like, okay, well, you might as well just put the gun in your heart because there's no reason.
Yeah, no, you'll be fine. Just pack accordingly.
Yeah, so all I've done for the past week is just play Ring Fit on like hard difficulty, and. It's been like not.
I'm sure it works.
It's been fantastic.
That's
for
definitely
my health,
something.
I imagine.
Something that you should just do. Yeah.
It's just pain. Like every time. Well, yeah. Like I'm going through. It's like, oh, I can do the whole like running through the. Because have you played Ring Fit?
No.
So
I've been trash. I have it.
What? It's great. The premise. So the premise of Ring Fit is.
I got it before the coronavirus. That never used it a single time. I specifically remember that I got it first, and then Bird was like, "I can't get it because of the virus," and I like the what? Because I barely was aware of it happening yet. It's like, oh yeah, there's a shortage because it was shipping from a country that was then on blockade or whatever.
Ring Fit famously built out of toilet paper, and that's why there was a shortage.
There's the
built out of toilet paper.
So the premise is that you move your character by either like motion running, like running in place, or doing squats if you're in an apartment and you don't want to like piss off everyone in like your entire building. And so when you're moving your character, so the idea is you're on a track, you move your character on this very narrow track, and you can push in on the little Ring Fit thing to blow air, and you can blow air at objects like boxes or coins to pick them up. Or you can pull it to suck in coins. And so that's easy. You just, you do your little like up, down, and you just push your thing. Easy. It's like one of those shake weights. But then there's a part where you have to fight people. And when you have to fight people, then it becomes like a fucking nightmare because it goes, all right, bud, I want you to do
all 10
squats. Yeah, you're like, do 10 squats right now. And it's like, oh,
yeah, it's
okay.
like a turn-based.
It's
like a turn-based JRPG, but it's all like quick time events, like Legend of Dragoon, and the quick time events are your body.
Yeah, you use your like body for it, and so sometimes it's rough. Like you're going through this whole thing, you're like, all right, I've put in like half a mile of energy in, and then you see an enemy, and you're like, oh fuck me, man, all right, and you run up to it, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna need you to do like 40 squats. I'm like, fuck, man, like, come on, like so. I've been trying to do that, but I don't feel good at the end of it because every time I do like let's take your pulse, it's like, wow, you're using like 70% of your allotted heart rate percentage, and I'm like, what does that mean? Does that mean I'm like out of shape? Shit.
Yeah. Like,
it can mean that, yeah, but it's more complicated than that. I imagine the game has systems to detect.
I remember that like on like treadmills and stuff, they often have a chart that tells you like what your ideal heart rate is for it being a good workout versus like unhelpful and weak or dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously I like that's the problem is I don't know really crap shit about health.
I spent
yourself healthy.
When I was a kid, I rode a bicycle I was a cyclist and I was like amateur cyclist in races and stuff. And for like the last 3 years that I did it, so between the age of 15 and 17, I used a like a pulse counter. It was like this little band. I imagine these days it's a little bit different, but it was this little band around the chest, and it would count the pulse, the how fast, the beats per minute. And I remember
those are the heart rate.
Yeah, that's the one. Heart rate monitors. I remember one thing that they told me when I was learning. After that, I learned my pulse well enough, and I knew what I was doing. But at the beginning, they told me that if you do a sprint, or if you do like a very big burst of energy, and you look at your heart rate, you're more or less 10% above your what's called anaerobic limit, which is the point at which your heart rate is so fast that your blood is not capable of providing enough oxygen to your muscles, and so it creates lactic acid. The other way around, lactic acid. But you're also 10% below your maximum heart rate. No, but it's called. It doesn't have anything to do with milk. It's just called that. But basically, for example, for me, I think I roughly off the top of my head, my limit was at 160, my anaerobic limit, and after a sprint, I would be at 180, and I could go up to 200 on like really like intensive sprints. I only did it a couple of times that I monitored, but I probably did it other times that I didn't monitor. But 10% is a good what's the word, like ballpark. So if you like do a sprint like 2 minutes or 3 minutes running really fast, and then count your heart rate to see where you're at, you're probably going to be at 170, 160, depending on many things, the size of your heart, how much blood you have, and then you just 10% it up and 10% it down. Basically, the anaerobic limit is, for example, for me, I was at 180 after a sprint. So every time I was above 160, I knew that I was basically digging into my like sort of reserves in a way. So I could just go for like hours. Like the races usually lasted for 2 or 3 hours, but I could go for 4 or more if I kept myself below that limit, the 160, as long as I ate enough food, as long as I had enough energy. Obviously, it can't go on forever because it's impossible. But basically, as long as you're in that limit, below that 160 for me, you're just doing cardio. Effectively, what it is. You're also building muscle, but it's more of a cardio workout than necessarily a muscle.
And that's what I was like. That's what I was hoping I could get out of the Ring Fit. Is I was looking more for cardio than like I'm not trying to bulk. Mm-hmm. And a lot of like at home exercise is usually more bulk based, not cardio based.
Pushing yourself, it's kind of complicated because I
definitely just miss being able to run and just go. And you just keep going. Do that. And you just go and you just go and you just go. Well, no, I mean, like, when it was easy.
Oh yeah, as a kid, it was like, my legs just were sonic level.
It was easy it was easy and didn't feel bad.
Yeah, that's how I felt with like riding a bike after like 10 years of not riding a bike. I was like, oh yeah, I used to ride bikes all the time, and I rode a bike like around the block. It's like, all right, I'm gonna die now, and it just like laid on the ground. I think
I commented in some other thing where I mentioned that like I kind of lost my ability to run easily and gained a bunch of weight. And someone's like, see that? Well, that's the correlation right there. I'm like, no, I was still running and gaining weight. That's just life changes as your body ages. But now running sucks. I remember every now and then I go back to trying it again, and it's like my ankles are destroyed. Like,
that's my problem as well.
Like what?
Your feet exactly and your ankles and your legs are like
just hurts.
The impacts of like running on concrete and so on in your shoes, like
even sand. Have you tried running on sand?
It's so much worse than just like.
Have you tried running on sand?
Like when you're young, it's just like your heart and your lungs, and you're just like it's just like effort feelings, but not like your legs and feet are being damaged by the process.
Yeah,
I have the same problem. I have the same problem ever since I started riding a bicycle. So up at the age of 14 years old, I could run forever, normal, just like a kid. I wasn't overly obese or anything, so I was a little bit overweight, but not too much. so I could just run like normal. But as soon as I started doing proper physical effort in a bicycle, of course, I started to build muscle mass, but for riding a bicycle. But I think the bike itself did something to my feet, because I have the same problem. Like every time I run, I start to run, the first few minutes I'm like breaking out a sweat or something, and then the feet start hurt, and I just can't continue, because it's just like the bang 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 bang. You're running, and I've tried it on sand as well. I've tried it with different shoes. Everybody's like, oh, it's just you need better shoes. It's the first thing, and I'm like, no, I don't. I know what I'm doing. I tried many things, including no shoes on sand. It doesn't matter. But I think I might have I don't know. It might have been something to do with
just to be somebody who's naturally weightless. And then they're like, I don't
Yes.
understand. And then they fucking respond to you like somebody who's not having computer problems. Like, yeah, I don't know what the problem is. I never had that. It's like, cool, great. Thanks for fucking talking, guy who has no life experience having real problems in this fucking aspect. It's like,
But have you tried?
Yeah.
Like skinny people always have fucking opinions about weight, and it's like, you've never had weight. You don't even know what weight is, because you're not like making like smart eating decisions and exercising. I know you. You don't go running. You don't go to the gym. You just are that way magically, and then you pretend to know how it happens or how to get that way, and it's like, no. It's like a universal struggle that for amongst people that actually have to deal with it. Like it's a genuine, difficult obstacle.
I have no idea how people gain weight. To me, it seems like
you have
magic.
the opposite problem, because you're like
Yeah.
you have like negative health problems from not lack of weight, and you're like, how the fuck?
Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah,
how are you people absorbing weight? Like, Jesus Christ.
Controlling your body weight's incredibly difficult, and people tend to, in many cases, rubber band right back to wherever they started the moment they aren't like actively trying to change their weight every day. It's a fucking huge pain in the ass for anyone that isn't where they want to be for any reason, because it's just like not really an easily solvable problem. It sucks.
Like,
It might be for a lot of people. It might be like on the basis that doing exercise itself isn't an overly difficult thing for a lot of people. But the problem is, who has time for that? That's my problem anyway. I don't do exercise. I kind of wanted to do exercise, but I don't have time for that. If I have a YouTube channel and a daytime job.
There's the capitalism problem of everyone just their time is accounted for. Everyone has to spend their time doing other things that don't exercise them. If you're lucky, your job exercises you.
There's a really cool thing about Ring Fit, where if you once you get everything all set up, you with the big old ring thing, if you put a controller in it and you push on the joystick, it goes into this like sleep mode or multitask mode, and you can use the actual rubber band thing to like work out, because it's something that you can work out with outside of the game.
Yeah.
And so you can use that. Like, so what I do is I use it when I'm watching anime. I'll sit there and I use it to like, I'll put it on my shoulder and I'll push down. So I get like, I work out my triceps, and then I use it like, I put it on my chest and push against to work out my abs. And then I use it in between my legs to push for
Why does it have to be in sleep mode though, as opposed to just not being on?
So no, your Switch has to be in sleep mode. And so that way, because you can't have the game running while you're doing it. Otherwise,
you just mean you're turning off the Switch, okay.
Yeah, you just turn off the Switch.
I thought you mean you're putting the controller in sleep mode, like you're pausing the game, and I'm like, this sounds like you're just using
I thought
the controller as a device by turning the console off.
No, it's when the console's off, you just slot it in, you push the thing, and you can use it. And what's nice is then it keeps track of that for you, then uses it to give you experience in the game. And so there's like an incentive there, like, gamification. But also that stupid ring thing is great. Like, you can use it in random different ways to work out specific parts of your body, because it uses a lot, obviously it's using a lot of your own force to help you work out, which is again, I'm not trying to bulk up, I'm just trying to build cardio. So being able to like constantly do repetitive actions over and over without getting tired is like, that's the goal. But
it's very fun. I don't know, it's very fun that you're training for a hike, like it's like if you're like someone training for a marathon.
Well, I am literally
It's
the most
not
stagnant
unwise.
person possible.
But it's like the question of like, I don't know, I might die.
I'm like, I am worried about it. I'm not trying to like drive an hour and a half up to the hills and then just be like, all right, well, I walked for 5 minutes and now I'm gonna die. Like I don't, and it's hard, but it's hard to gauge your stamina too. Like I can literally walk forever. I can never stop walking. I will never get tired of walking.
Yeah, no, it's not really a problem.
But
slight incline, death.
Exactly. I literally, and I can do it in the worst climates. Dubai, I walked all over the place. I used to walk like from one part to the other in 40 Celsius. Just, all right, whatever, it's fine.
Don't do that.
Just do. It's fine. I just drink water and just keep going. I'll just keep walking. But that's a flat surface. Like the moment we went to like the sand dunes, I got exhausted trying to climb the fucking dunes. It's like, all right, this is literally hell on earth. I don't want to be here anymore. Please kill me. And
how big are the dunes?
Fucking huge. Like they can consume a car. Like they're huge.
They're way bigger than car consuming. Dunes are massive.
Well, but yeah, they're just giant, and it's.
That was
don't be on the
one
opposite
of my first
side.
YouTube videos ever was riding an ATV in the dunes south of Pismo.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
That area,
yeah, we were in the.
That area
we
is
were
now closed off as a nature reserve.
Is it?
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about too. I didn't know it's closed off.
Because all the driving and stuff was like eroding away the entire area.
Oh, I was gonna say it's probably destroying the beachfront. Yeah.
The entire place was being obliterated. So now it's like
Pismo's really nice though.
Off.
That's that and
most things I found out about it because somebody was angrily ranting about how the libs are taking the fun away again or something, and I was like, "What,
buddy?
Everything's teams."
There are plenty of other dunes you can go tear up. It's I don't know, but again, it's weird. It's weird trying to like gauge your
Speaking of things
level.
that just hurt, riding ATVs. Oh my fucking god, your hands.
ATVs and what's it called? The dirt bikes. Dirt bikes are also just the most ass.
You just be going, you're like, this is fun, this is nice, and then your hands just slowly lose their ability to work. And then by the time you stop after like a half an hour of driving around, you can't let go.
Yeah, yeah, you're gripped in.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
You're stopped there. Your hands, any attempt to move them hurts your hands. And eventually, you pull your hands off the handles by just pulling away via your arms and wrists, just pulling your whole arms away, and
your claw hand
will be the fingers will like kind of forcefully let go without using any of the muscles to actually move the fingers. And then you just kind of recover slowly. It's like, Jesus Christ, your hands like just stop working.
It's kind of funny because even riding a normal bike, I assume a motorcycle is the same, probably even more.
Because I think the vibrating doesn't help.
Yeah, it's just you're hanging on in the same position for so long, and your weight is there as well, even on a normal motorcycle, and also a bicycle. I remember I had like the lower side of your forearm. I say lower if you extend your palm down, or you extend your hand with a palm down, and the lower part of your forearm that's a big muscle in there. That muscle for me when I rode a bicycle was like super strong, and it's just from hanging onto the whatever. It's not a steering wheel. What does a bicycle have?
Handlebars.
Yeah,
handlebars. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
A wise man once said that he could ride his bike with no handlebars.
That's probably a lie.
No handlebars.
I think dirt bike was like the first time I was ever mechanically punched in the nuts.
Mechanically punched in the nuts.
Well, like the first time you ride a dirt bike and you go over a dune, like a bump, you go like, oh, this is weird, and then it's like hits you right in the nuts. You're like, oh, this is great, fantastic.
Yeah,
because like there's like, there's shock absorbent, but there's it's not that great. Like a bike,
it's absorbing for the bicycle, not for you.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
For the bike,
But when you're motorized, you're also, you're trying to, you have this problem of where, unlike a bicycle, you're using your own momentum to keep up your speed. So you can really easily, like a lot more easily gauge like, okay, well, I'm not gonna do anything too crazy off this hill. But sometimes you can accidentally like, oops, revved a little bit too much, and you're like, woo. And so like you have to brace for impact, and then the impact can sometimes be a lot more than you expected. It's just I don't know. I'm trying to think of jet skis do that too. Jet skis also do the thing where like after a while your hands get clawed up if you're on there too long.
Yeah, it's just a position, and it's also got to do. It's the same problem that typing on a computer for a long time creates. It's called the ulnar deviation, I believe, because the blood flow to your hands is also constrained when you're in that position because of the way that your forearms twist. The bones themselves like twist in a way that you get less blood flow to the hands. I always had trouble with
that's interesting to think about.
Cold hands. Sorry?
That's interesting to think about. I'm just thinking, like, because like fucking arms are fucking weird. Because you essentially have two bones that run parallel to each other, and they just twist over each other, and like if your palm is up, that's when your bones are parallel, right? So every time you're using a computer or anytime your hands your palms are down, which is like most of the uses of a hand, your bones are like twisted over each other in a way that just does who knows what to all the inside meat and blood vessels and shit inside there.
It is not good. Yeah, that's definitely something.
It's like we're made wrong.
Well, that's no. I mean, it's
the keyboards are not made for us. Have you never seen the keyboards?
But how often is palm up useful as a human? What is that for?
But it's just like again,
it's not palm up.
Well,
palm up is when they're untwisted, but the normal position is when it's palm sideways. Like
it should be parallel to your body.
Yeah. But there's these. I don't know if I can show you. I think I can look it up and show you.
A good way to deal with that is to like outstretch your arm like straight ahead, bend your fingers with your other hand, and then like kind of like pull a little bit with your arm, and that's a great way to stretch out your entire set of muscles when you're on a computer for long periods of time. Like just get up and do that, and that way you can reset your poor constricted body.
There are keyboards that are made for people who have trouble twisting their arms in that in the fashion that normal keyboards do. I just posted a picture. I looked up.
It's funny, but like not all tools humans make are actually good for us. Some tools are just
many aren't, like social media.
Most of them,
or like
social media.
Or like toilets. Toilets are terrible designed, and we just keep using them for some reason. Like they don't.
This topic just has me thinking about my mom and how she's always like, it's like, remember to stretch every now and then, you'll get carpal tunnel. It's just been like her go-to thing to fixate on all the time.
You don't have carpal tunnel syndrome?
No. Do you have carpal tunnel syndrome?
I do, since 24. And it sucks. It's basically a daily. Yeah, it's just like, it's terrible. And I think I got it for using a computer in a certain way for only 2 years. It was enough. And then my hand started to hurt. Yeah. And the thing is, I had no idea what it was. And I was like, this isn't good. Let me continue doing exactly the same thing I've been doing up until now.
Yeah, I started...
I don't really continue anything if I feel pain.
That is a good way to do things.
That's not true.
Like for example, back pain.
I don't feel pain playing Overwatch. That's
you finished Zero Escape.
That's not what words mean.
How did you not feel pain?
That's a different form of trauma.
I mean, it's like, for example, if you're used to getting back pain after sitting down for 2 hours, for example, then that's probably normal 2 hours. But there's probably something also that you can do to mitigate that. Having that back pain every 2 hours to sit down is not good. But you can, I mean, of course you can get up every hour or so just to stretch, and that's important. But it doesn't mean that there's not other ways that other things that you should be doing.
I also need to work on my posture.
Yeah.
Everybody sit up. It's just every single position I ever get into always feels uncomfortable. Even the ones that are supposed to be like, this is helpful, right? This is good. this chair's got like a bend. This chair's got like a back with like a V in it that's supposed to like go into the whatever spot on your back that like makes your posture better, right? And like this just, it never feels like an improvement in any way.
With a V, the lower back, I imagine.
Yeah, like there's a lot of chairs have like a shape that's supposed to help your back or something, and I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Does it though? I'm like, oh.
They have like the little.
I turn into a liquid. I turn into liquid like a cat, and just like sink into various positions, and then change into another position every like 10 minutes.
Somebody needs to make fan art of that.
I sit up at attention, all alert and shit, and try to like do that whenever I play Overwatch, because like, no, we're fully engaged. No, we're not putting my legs up on the stool or anything. Like we're like no leaning back during Overwatch. But when I'm playing like Golden Sun or a Monsters Expedition, I am just like leaning all the way to the left or all the way to the right, or I'm slumped so that it's like here's my shoulders are against the backrest, and then my legs are all the way forward. Like you can probably hear it in my voice every time I shift to a different position because of the effects it has. But I'm just like sitting there for so long sometimes, and I'm just like sinking into different positions and then getting back up again.
I definitely feel the effect of sinking into the chair a little. My chair is pretty robust in that regard, but I think it's just a matter of habit, really. Like I don't know. It might not be just a matter of habit as well. Like recently, I've gotten myself to be more conscious of where my elbows specifically are in my armrests, and now these, like I say recently, but like for the last year, and these days I can immediately notice when I'm out of position because my arms just feel wrong. You know what I mean? This is like because they're not going to be reaching the right things. If I'm like slumped,
my
or something,
elbows just don't go on anything. I don't think.
That's
crazy. I put my desk. I have a corner desk, and I specifically always use corner desks because what I do is I put the keyboard at the bending at the like center point, and so then I put my wrist or both my arms on the table flat, so that way they're not on the armrest. I don't rely on the chair to provide stability. I always have my arms at like a perfect 90-degree angle when I'm on a keyboard.
So your entire arms are on the desk?
Yeah, my entire arms are resting on the desk, and then I have a thing for my elbow that I put my elbow onto, so it's not hitting because I'm terribly
I think I've seen it in one of yours. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I keep that so that way I don't like have my bone hitting the desk. But otherwise, I just keep it like that, and I have like a thing in front of my keyboard to put my wrists on if I need it.
Yeah, that thing is actually crucial in the position that you're in, because if you don't have that, your arms are gonna twist, like your hands rather are gonna twist backwards because of the keyboard. When you have your hands or arms resting in the table like that, you really really need that keyboard thing that you're talking about.
Yeah, and I try to, and I do that specifically for my left arm because my left is the one that that has the bag underneath it for my elbow, and that's because it keeps it elevated at like a perfect, like they're the exact same height, so it's not like I really wish I could do it for my mouse arm, but I can't because when I use my mouse, my elbow goes off the ledge. But you know, I'm trying to keep my wrists as like perfectly same level as possible so they're not bending at any point. Because yeah, I'm on a computer all day. Literally, my whole job is just a computer, and so
yeah, my wrists.
If I'm not careful, yeah, like if I'm not careful, I'll hurt myself. And
I find that the elbow support is more important for back pain than necessarily for arm pain, and that's one of the reasons why I changed the way I have them last year. But because the thing is, like, if I don't have my elbow supported, it's just like my shoulders that are holding onto the arm weight, and eventually it just really weighs me down, I suppose. Because the arms, they're chunky arms.
I never know where these podcasts are going to go. I did not expect like the first half an hour to be about posture.
Hiking. We're talking about hiking.
Yeah. I was going to open this podcast with an apology.
Oh, why? Oh, for last week?
I don't know about last week or not.
Well, you skipped last
right.
week.
Last week we didn't have a podcast. I was like, what?
Yeah.
No, just the fact that I was like, we never get any questions. I'm like, oh right, we have questions we never answered.
Let's get them today. We have
I was going to spend this
got.
entire episode on Q&A questions.
Let's do it.
Q&A questions. I'm so good at
thanks for answering my question. I have zero confidence in my stamina still, but that's all right. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we started with Andrew's question in this Q&A. So there's two things. One thing is that I would check the questions just about weekly for a while there, and it was just that there's a bunch that I keep skipping over for various reasons, and partly because some of them are for Stephanie, and some of them are like, here's a whole topic. I'm like, ooh, I don't think we're like. It's a combination of like, oh, I think we're too far into this podcast to introduce this potentially long topic now, and also in other cases, I'm like, I don't have like anything. I don't think I have any expertise to say about this particular topic. Like, I don't know why I'd bring this one up.
Yeah, it's probably my fault as well because there were a few podcasts that I started off like almost purposely tangential, like creating tangents and just being like, let's talk about this nonsense thing that you guys have no idea what I'm talking about.
But there's also another thing, which is I have a bias because I've done a lot of Q&A videos at this point. Because of the extended Patreon Q&A, and before that there was the other one, like the one where you call it like where you asked a question about my murdered burps was the way you phrased it all the way back then. And I remember answering that question while playing Earth Defense Force. That was a really specific memory. But like I have a bias against a particular kind of question, and I tend to skip over them at least temporarily over and over again before I get around to them, which is, what is your favorite, least favorite, best, worst style, like that format? And it's partly because there's two things. One, it's just like such a template question that like in many cases it's like I feel like I've answered 16 variations of the same question several times. Like, what's your favorite game or least favorite game kind of stuff is like, it's just kind of like but at the same time, like I always pause for a moment because the human brain does not index all of its contents. Because I was going to say like, oh,
Andrew's brain does.
I was going to be like, I don't forget I don't remember every game and so on, but it's like I don't necessarily not remember every game, but it's like I can't like call up a numbered list in my head that ranks everything, all of my life experiences. And so there's this like a Quentin Tarantino thing, which I'm guilty of, which is when you're like, let's quote Quentin Tarantino when he said that fucking his favorite movie of all time is Battle Royale, and it's like I don't even know the context of that quote or when it was. It's like it could have just been like a throwaway comment in a random interview that happened one day, and it could have been like 7 years ago, and he doesn't think that anymore. Like, what is that? So it's like people often will quote your answers to these kind of questions, and then like
if it's canon and gospel.
They will remember the answers to these questions longer than you. Like, I'll forget them by the end of the podcast. Yeah. I won't even remember what the answers to my questions in the same podcast because of how arbitrarily selected a best or worst is. But people will like cite it later, and I'm like, I don't know. So I'll just do this whole podcast with that asterisk there as a reminder that like I pretty much just throw out the first thing that comes to mind on that day, which is like semi-random because trying to like cement yourself as like this is the exact answer of best or worst in this thing is just like that's not how human minds work. So that's my asterisks and so on, because we're just going to churn through them all in chronological order. Seems like a reasonable thing to do.
I read some of the older ones. Do you have the list on you?
Yeah, I just keep them in my email inbox, and I move them to the answered folder when I answer them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all
that would be a much better
inbox is kept
much better than what I do.
No, that'd be a much better name for inbox would be inventory. I would love
the
that.
Inventory.
Here's my email inventory. I'd be like, oh god.
Let's see. First question is for Stephanie, so skip. Right back to the oldest question continually gets skipped because it's for Stephanie. Let's see.
Someday.
Oh yeah, there's a favorite one. Robert McDaniel asks, I've been really enjoying the podcast so far. That's not a question. I figured I'd do my part and write into questions. Question number 1. This one's for everyone. What are some of your favorite, most memorable boss fights of all time?
Okay.
Duragon C. Mikado.
God.
Mikado? You'll see you'll know in a week.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It is. So I'll start off and let you guys think about one. I'll give one right now, and then I'll give another later. The boss is not. There's two main bosses in Fallout 1, but specifically the Master in Fallout 1. The last time I played Fallout 1 ended so brilliantly that I really enjoyed it. Basically, it's a very tense part of the game where you have a corridor and like there's a lot of psychic stuff going on and your character's taking damage, and it was basically like that ending scene in an anime where the main hero just goes and takes like a serious grievous wound that lasts forever because it was a permanent thing in my character, but I knew it was the last boss. And then you had that big confrontation with the Master in Fallout 1, which is honestly one of my that probably is my favorite boss of all time. It's just so well written, so interesting, even though it is derivative, but in video games it's interesting. And just I convinced him to do the thing that you convinced him to do. Everybody knows about. I'm not going to spoil it, but the Master in Fallout 1, the last time I did it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. You guys thought about yours while I was talking, didn't you?
Yeah.
No, I listened.
Oh, you weren't thinking. I was buying your time because I know you need to think.
Well, the first boss in Mischief Makers, which itself is a weird game because it's a 2.5D game in a way that, the era where that was like, what the fuck is that genre? We don't even have a word for that yet. The idea that like you're playing a 2D game, but the background's like has 3D effects and so on. And like the first boss is a giant dragon that comes out of the lava, and he's like a series of he himself is made of a series of individual objects that float around independently of each other, but they're supposed to create the simulation of a dragon like body. Like it's not intentionally like what's that man? Oh my god, what game was that? I'll just say Rayman because that's another example of when they're supposed to be floating around independently. But there was like what was that game where you were a green man made of blobs? That all moved
Vector
apart.
Man?
Vector Man. Yeah, it's not like Vector Man. It's like it's supposed to look like a body, but they simulated having this big animated dragon be really animated, but without having like a billion unique sprites or whatever, by having him be made up of a series of like orbs that would fly around and animate, and his facial expressions would change and so on. And it was really fluid and neat looking. And he would try to punch you down at you, and because you were shake, you were the maid from Mischief Makers, all she could do is catch things and throw them. So like you had to like catch his punches and throw them back at his face, which is just a hell of a bizarre boss fight. And the entire thing sounds like someone record scratching over and over again, like in a scuffy noise sort of way. It's like a really off-putting, like not pleasing background track. The whole thing's like deeply seared in my brain. There's also a boss fight in fucking Silent Bomber, a game where it's like Bomberman, but like it's serious brooding boy, anime boy man. It's on my list of like the Bouncer and Mischief Maker of like these are my seared into my memory games I have to get a series on at some point. But in this bizarre game that's like Bomberman, where you have X number of bombs and then you detonate them and so on, but you can also like launch them at people and lock onto them to throw them directly onto them. You fight a fucking chessboard. Just a whole fucking chessboard of like life scale, and they all move like chess pieces, and they're all attacking you. And I never beat it as a kid, so that's my big goal, is to get around to that playthrough again.
Nice.
Just to beat that game, because I never beat the chessboard level because it was so overwhelming as a kid. I could never get past it. Also, Ludwig, obviously,
from Bloodborne.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Sir Alone from Dark Souls 2, from the which one is the deal? There's a DLC.
He wasn't that hard. Fume Knight.
No, he wasn't that hard,
one.
but I liked him because his rule set. First off, he didn't have any flaming swords, which is a huge bonus for me because I hate them. I just can't with flaming swords. But his moveset is really like clean, and it's like the distillation of all the Dark Souls katana moves, and he's big, and is like, he's also kind of tough. He's not an easy boss, but he's easy enough that there's sort of an achievement where if you beat him without taking any damage, he has a specific animation. So it's like one of those bosses that actually is a little bit easier than you'd think, because they have that. But for me, the moment it clicked that I could learn his moveset entirely, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be a fun time," and it was. I learned his whole moveset, and I enjoyed it. It
the boss fights that
I
were
think-
like seared in my mind are just the ones that I spent days or weeks on. Like there was an entire period
I don't
of,
like
of
those.
dealing with that. So it was like Lost Sinner, Elaine, or Elsana, or Elana, or whatever, from the end of the Sunken King DLC, Fume Knight,
Yeah.
and Ludwig.
Ivory King.
No,
I had
Ivory
so much
King's
trouble with
easy.
the Ivory King. Oh my god, I had so much
think I
trouble with that.
first
And
tried
Fume
it.
Knight was difficult. My god, I had so much trouble. Admittedly, I wasn't doing it properly. I didn't have all the knights.
For Elsana or Elaine or whatever the fuck,
So
whoever she is.
that's the one in the.
The one before,
Is that the one in-
it's the one before the poison dragon. She like summons things and stuff and teleports around. That one in particular, I was brooding over because like I had to fucking leave for a vacation. Halfway, like I spent hours on it being stuck, and then was watching my backlog of videos slowly dry up, leading up to when the video was supposed to come out for fighting her, and then. Like I was like, oh my god, I gotta beat her, but I'm gone for like 3 days on this like trip to Pismo and so on. Then I come back, and then I think I actually beat her relatively quickly when I got back. But that was one of my first.
She's
like,
the one at the bottom.
unabridged videos.
She's the one at the bottom of that big stairway kind of
you have
level.
to go down this huge
I beat
falling section, and I think I didn't find the nearby because it's
Yeah,
very
there's a
missable.
nearby.
I think I missed
It
the
is.
bonfire, so I had to go down the entire level every time I fought her.
I got lucky that
God.
my build was enough to kill her on I think the second try.
Yeah,
But she's very annoying.
And I think Ludwig might have been artificially difficult because it was DLC that came out for the game, and it came out after I'd already played the game all the way through. So I made a new character just to play the DLC on New Game, and like I was like I just kind of like guessed what the recommended level was because like I could get to the requirements to unlocking the DLC relatively quickly, but I was like I don't know what level I should be, and in between sessions of trying to beat Ludwig, I would go grind by ripping the anuses out of those pigs over and over again, and then coming back, and I'd be a few levels higher and so on. And then by the end, when I fight Orphan of Kos, which was supposed to be the big difficult one that everyone freaks out about too, I beat him relatively quickly and easily. And at that point, I guess I was somehow overpowered. I'm like, this is kind of a problem with. It's kind of a struggle with Souls games in general, but also especially with the idea of DLC that comes out for a Souls-like. It's just like, what level am I supposed to be? Where does this fit in naturally? And when you're rushing to create content for a game, you're like, you don't really have the time to be like, I will do a natural playthrough where I do approximately 60% of the overall campaign and then play the DLC, and then I'll have the amount of experience you would naturally obtain in that amount of time. Like it's just. There'd be so many more extra hoops to go through. So like I might have made the whole fight harder by being weaker than I was supposed to be, but it was agony.
It is agony when you just, especially if you have the backlog sort of hounding on you and just being like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you."
Oh, it
you need
fucking
to-
sucks once you're at a point where you have like a quota of like videos you do per day, and then you're like, I'm just fighting this boss for 3 hours, and it's going to be eventually one video, and you're like, it's like not only am I falling behind on my daily recordings, but like potentially, depending on how that playthrough is going, the amount of days it is before that video is supposed to come out that you're recording right now is like creeping up on you until like eventually you're like, am I gonna have to like put this series on hiatus because I still don't have the video ready, or just start uploading like 10 videos of me fighting the same boss over and over again? Sekiro broke me there a little bit because Sekiro had some bosses that were so hard that I gave up and came back later. So I was like, I can't beat Butterfly. I got to go play the main campaign more and come back to the side area later. So I had a video that even had an unabridged version that still ultimately resulted in me not beating her.
I was gonna say I would say my favorite boss fight is Ishin, the final boss of Sekiro, who is like, yeah, he's just the culmination of like, all right, bud, I hope you like didn't actually learn anything from this game because we're gonna fuck it all up right now. It's like, oh god, like you just can't do anything to the guy. You have to.
This is not even my final form.
Yeah, like first off,
surprise, that was
like,
also not my final form.
The initial
I don't like
fight
that
is
at all.
The initial fight is with Genshin. What's his name? Genshiro.
I can tell he really left an impact on you.
Yeah, he's so brain dead easy. I hate like my first time fighting him in my blind playthrough. I beat him on my second attempt. Like he's just a boring.
Ape. Sorry,
Oh,
just
yeah,
just remembered Guardian Ape and that fucking reveal.
Yeah, Guardian Ape was also not nearly as bad, but like it's just like I was like, oh cool, this guy again, and you beat him, and you're like, oh haha, and he's like, now it's my second. It's like, all right, haha. And he's like, oh by the way, and you're like, who the fuck is that guy? And this guy like walks out with this huge fucking sword, and he's like, I'm gonna actually kick your ass. It's like, oh wait, hold on, and he just every fucking hit is like your whole health. That's it. You cannot fuck up the battle. You have to keep winning. You have to keep blocking. You have to like, it's a lot. It takes so much patience to fight him, but it's so rewarding every time that you like block one of his moves or put more posture break on him, and you're like, yeah, fuck you, dude. I'm gonna kick your ass. It feels really good. And there are some Sekiro bosses that are like that. Sekiro is probably like the only Souls game that I would say I like that they've made. Just because it has
you know
all
what
the
Sekiro
stuff
needs?
I like in it.
You know what Sekiro needs, especially for streamers, for blind Let's Players, I should say, is like tutorial tooltips where this boss is immune to this attack. Use this ability to unlock its exposed state. Like when you find the headless monkey that is immune to everything, or no, is there poison around you? I don't remember because I didn't play the game. I only watched like 3 or 4 Let's Plays.
No, he throws. So he throws shit at you, and the shit he throws at you is poisonous.
I just remember seeing a lot of people being like, I don't know what to do.
Big ass boulder.
It's a big ass boulder, but also like
he's ravaged.
So it's he has a lot. Yeah, he's a tough one, mostly because like his moveset is really, really painful to try and get good hits out of.
Which moveset? Because there's 2 movesets. There's the serpent. There's the first one.
Yeah. So his first phase is also kind of a pain in the ass because that's the one where he's going around like jumping in the air, chucking shit at you like a slam dunk,
like a monkey.
He like has the move where he rolls at you, like so he just barrels at you, and then he starts rolling left and right, and like you have to let him temper tantrum out, and you have to like wait a second, and then you can start getting hits in, and like there's a lot of that, and then his second phase is obviously like he's just swinging this fucking sword like crazy. He just suddenly became like a sword master, and you're like, what? Excuse me, where the fuck did this come from? And he's just like,
he's moving like a creepy puppet.
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
he is a creepy puppet.
Yeah, he's dangling.
That's where it came from.
It's a lot, but I would say like seeing it twice is what kind of like made me a little like that was when I was like, okay, well, fuck you guys. Like fighting 2 of them is like,
twice?
all right.
Oh, no, there's 2 of them.
Yeah, there's a later point where you have to fight 2 of them at one time, and it was like, all right, well, this is a little fucking mean. Like I think you're. I don't know. It's like the Hydra when you like in the Hydra in Dark Souls when you see the Hydra again, you're like, all right, did you really think this was like?
Andrew. Your second Hydra was a piece of cake.
Well, yeah, it killed itself, fortunately. But
I saw it.
It's still like seeing that Hydra again is like, oh my god, did you really think this was good enough for a second time? Like, I didn't like it the first time.
It's
like,
the worst boss fight in Dark Souls, and for some reason they use it twice.
Yeah.
It's like, how dare you?
And like that's how I felt with the monkey. Where I was like, all right, it's not that it was hard. It's just like it's a pain. It's a fucking monkey. It's a nightmare to deal with. You're waiting for a lot of him to do stuff. A lot of the other Sekiro bosses are nice because you can just fucking bully them. If they're dumb, and they are, like Butterfly is fucking dumb. She will just come at you. If you open yourself, you're like, look, I'm attacking a lot. She's like, oh, I'm gonna punish you. And you're like, no, you're not. And you just block.
Brutal.
But
because you don't know what to do. That's what I'm saying.
Just keep countering her. Just keep fucking countering her.
The game just needs to tell you that stuff. The game needs to have a pop-up that you can disable if you want to learn it yourself. But the thing is, you don't need to learn.
You learn easily in Sekiro by punishment. Because unlike Dark Souls,
I don't think that's the case.
Dark Souls sucks to die in. Because there's a lot that holds you back when you die. Like you lose a lot of souls, and you lose a lot, and you can like lose humanity, and you can lose health, and all this stuff. Sekiro doesn't. No, the worst you can do is you can waste a revive. If you wasted a revive, now you have to go around and kill more people to get that extra one. but that's the worst that can happen to you. What, are you going to lose your Sen? Who holds on to Sen? What a fucking idiot. Just hold on to your bag of money.
I think
and
the
when
weird,
it's time to
the weird
upgrade,
pressure in Sekiro was that every time you died, you were slowly killing all of the other characters in the game.
Fuck
Which
them. That's
normal
not the
people
point.
are supposed
The
to
point
care
is,
about.
the point is
Yeah.
that you're there
Reviner's
to,
like,
you're there to
wow,
win.
literally no consequences.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like Sekiro, because I don't care about the Dragon Rod. I'm not there. I don't play Sekiro.
Also, it
for the
doesn't
plot.
matter because they
That's
don't
not
die.
Interesting.
Yeah, they don't die. The Dragon Rod doesn't kill them.
I don't remember how it works, but I think
The
it did
Dragon Rod doesn't
something.
kill them, but it does. It permanently fucks them up for life. Like, it makes their life not great.
Oh, they change their character, like
Yeah,
dialogue
like their
and stuff.
their characters
Finally,
get
like,
worse.
I think I remember there being like there was like another encounter that was like, it's Guardian Ape, but worse. And surprisingly, I beat it on like my first or second try.
Yeah.
I've been training
good.
for
Yeah.
this. But yeah, the fucking Hydra literally has 2 attacks in Dark Souls 1. It has the long
none of them
range
hits.
projectile attack, and then one where
Oh,
all
that
of its
one hits.
heads attack at once. And in that
You have to
fucking
block them all.
animation, all of the heads go in the same direction every time. It's one giant, like somebody built a giant like knot of like, here's the path each individual head will take, and they all don't like pass through each other, and it's like a big complicated web of heads. But then when you damage a head, it falls off. And so slowly you're just chopping off all the heads, but the ones that are left are still awkwardly doing whatever their attack animation is, even if all the surrounding heads aren't there to give it context anymore. And so eventually you just get with some shitty dangler that you can never, like, you start having trouble reaching it because you're in like waist high water, so you move slow, and he's too stupid to hit you because he locks onto you and does his attack on you like all of his heads are still there, but all the ones that threatened you have been long since chopped off, and now a weird far distant one keeps hitting like 30 feet away from you, and you keep like trying to like bait his melee attack, then run to the head where it ends up landing, just try to hit it because the boss can't even hit you anymore. And I've legitimately been stuck in that position of just trying to kill the boss that can't even hurt me anymore for like a minute or two straight of like, just like, oh my fucking god, I don't want to be here anymore. It's such a trash unfinished boss, and they used it twice somehow, and I'm like, why did you do that? And it's like, but it's like, yeah, just to highlight how unfinished that boss is, the second spawn of that boss reveals it secretly had a third move the whole time, which is the one where it flies through the air like a dumb rubber kaiju, the way that they wouldn't move when they were flying through the air in those movies. And it like might just glitch out and die when it does it.
It's a very rare occurrence.
I point out that stuff so much whenever anyone's trying to pretend that like Dark Souls 1 is like some perfect gem of a game or whatever the fuck. It's like, I love Dark Souls, but like it's just really weird to deify it and pretend it's like some sort of perfection example, especially since like Dark Souls 1 is constantly used as like a club, like a bludgeon against its sequels, like especially Dark Souls 2. And it's like, do you not remember Dark Souls 1? How many fucking issues it has? Every single Dark Souls is full of weird quirks and problems, including Demon Souls, and like they always were, including the sequels that both fix some of them and introduce new ones, and it's always been the case. And this bizarre thing, it's really weird watching people like act like the usual narrative is often that Dark Souls 1 is like perfection and Dark Souls 2 is trash, and I'm like, what? I've played all of these games so many times, and this discrepancy does not match.
My favorite is Dark Souls 2. I think Dark Souls 3 is very comfortable. Yeah, I think so. I think my problem with Dark Souls 1, besides the bosses, is that because there's the Bed of Chaos, there's there's obviously the thing that you were talking about, the Hydra. There's just a lot of bosses that are not good at all. But I think my problem is that you can't roll in any direction. It's only forwards, backwards, left or right. That's it. And I think that makes the game so... There's mods for it. You can mod it. And obviously, if you're not locked into
I think they added
an enemy...
8-direction rolling in the remaster or something.
No, they didn't. It's still
Did they not?
4 direction. Yeah, it's just 4 directions. It's it does make the game feel clunky. I wish they didn't have that. But that's really the only thing... generally speaking, but the bosses themselves, I think, are the weakest part of Dark Souls 1.
In the entire second half of the game.
And
it's like a noticeable drop from the first half. Like, isn't it cool how interconnected the world is? Yeah, for the first 3 hours. That goes away immediately after the plate levels you're playing stop being called Undead Berg. It's like you immediately lose that whole aspect that you're claiming is like the selling point of the game. After that point, it just it basically just is Dark Souls 2 and Demon Souls and Bloodborne. I mean, in Dark Souls 3, all of which don't have the interconnectivity so much.
Doesn't New Londo connect somewhere else? Like the bottom of New Londo, doesn't it connect to another place besides the bottom of the shrine?
Yeah, there's the Drake Valley place is weirdly a connection between
no, I know it. That's not
weirdly,
what I'm...
It weirdly connects the beginning of New Londo Ruins with the end of New Londo Ruins with Darkroot Garden.
Oh, it does. That's the one.
With Blighttown.
Yes. That's what I'm remembering. I like that bit. That's my favorite interconnection bit because it's just so deep into the game, and you're like, oh, these gates.
It's a really weird connection too.
It is. It's also totally irrelevant.
Yeah, for when you desperately want to get from the ending gate of New Londo to that one sort of secret-ish bonfire in Darkroot. Obviously, who wouldn't want that path?
Yeah, of course, for sure.
I only use it when I'm in Darkroot to sneak into the front gate of New Londo Ruins just to get the item on top of that one tower surrounded by drakes, and then run back. Which I don't even know if it's worth getting. It's probably something I've never used, like a fucking Tearstone ring.
No, it's a ring. It's a ring of it's a Tearstone ring, I think. I don't remember exactly which one.
I hate Tearstone rings.
Oh.
I'll never use a ring that's like, you need to have low health for this effect to happen. I'm like, nope, not playing that style.
I promise you that ring is good. I know you never play with it.
I always
saved my life so many times.
I always refuse to play with any play style that's like, yeah, just stay at low health and never make mistakes.
Because I don't. But it isn't what I don't think that's the biggest benefit of that ring. So basically, the ring.
That's
just
what
for
Tearstone
context,
means. All the Tearstone rings are this effect happens when you're low health.
Oh no, that ring is the one that gives you defense. Yeah, it's low health.
Yeah, that would be the only one.
That's the one I'm referring to.
Dying.
Yeah. But it is like it's sort of magic. Well, obviously it's a magic ring, but it isn't like it isn't like gives you defense at low health, and you're like, okay, so if I take a hit at high health, then I don't have that defense and I die. No. The last little bit of that hit that would kill you otherwise, the last little bit counts with a high defense, and so it's
Dark Souls 1 always had the balancing problem of how there was that one bullshit ring.
Yeah. I use it every time. I just love it.
Who needs all the other rings when you could just knock Lautrec, you just murder Lautrec and get the super ring that makes all of your stats better all at the same time?
Oh, that one. I forgot about that.
Yeah, who needs any other ring?
Remove?
Yeah, you just can't take it off because it'll break.
Yeah.
Which, why would you ever? It's better than every ring in the game.
Cannot take it
and
off.
It's not like
you still have another
finger. Not like you feel bad for murdering Lautrec. He's going to kill your Firekeeper. He's the most hated NPC in the game already, so it's like it's just an added bonus. Like, oh, I don't you don't fuck over my playthrough later, and I also don't have to like fight you shitty rigged battle against wizards that shoot bolts at me and shit. I can just kill you right now.
And by the way, that battle, if you lose that battle, you can't go back there, or can you?
It just keeps respawning you over and over again, I think.
Oh, okay. Because when I did it the first time, I did it on stream, and my chat told me that it was a one-shot thing, and I was like, okay, super pressure.
I don't think that's the case at all.
Okay, so
I think you just keep running there or something. I don't remember how that fight triggers anymore. It's been.
I don't even know how to spawn that fight because you need to go to a place and eat like an eye. I think it's New Londo. It's New.
Yeah, I think you use the evil eye orb. And I think you have to use it in Anor Londo. It might have to be night, and it might have to be nighttime. Yeah, you probably at least have to have beaten Ornstein Smough already, but I don't remember. These games are actually filled with like hundreds of incredibly arcane mechanics that, like, when you're in the loop of replaying the same one over and over again, you get like into the vibe of like, oh, here's all these things I've memorized that are a bunch of weird random bullshit, but once you start playing the other ones and then go back to another one, you're like, oh, fuck, what was this game's deal? And then after you're a few years removed from like the whole series, like now, because they haven't made one for a while, it's so fucking hard to remember like which thing is happening, which game. Like, oh yeah, that fucking Demon Souls has a world tendency. So like the worlds get darker when you die more and get better when you kill a boss, and that affects whether or not certain doors are open and stuff like that. And it's like, and it's an entire mechanic that used to be tied to the online mechanic, but the online gameplay mostly died, so it basically doesn't work anymore. And like,
did they change it for the remake?
I don't know. I haven't played it because I just don't have a PS5.
But who does?
Yeah, no one. Just all the scalpers.
No one.
But the in Demon Souls you had character tendency and world tendency. So you had a light and dark meter, and each individual world had a light and dark meter out of the 5 of them. And so your certain actions would raise or lower either meter, which would cause different effects to happen to both of you simultaneously. I think one of the consequences for getting darker character tendency from murdering NPCs and stuff was that instead of your health going down to half when you died, it went down to like as low as like 10%. Like the lower limit of how low your health could go kept getting lower and lower and lower the darker your character tendency got to punish you for killing NPCs. Like, you better have a fucking, not Lloyd's Talisman, whatever the fuck thing is that made you come back to life, because that's just one of the many arcane things going on there.
That
it's like,
keeps changing the name.
Just a reminder of like how like, oh yeah, some Souls games made your health go down when you died, and some of them didn't. Funnily enough, the one that people hold up on a platter the most is the one that didn't do that at all. Dark Souls 2, 3, and Demon Souls all changed your health amount every time you died, but Dark Souls 1 never does.
But Dark Souls 1 has curse that does have it's the worst. It's like if it did that in Dark Souls 1, it would be the worst thing.
Curse is pretty horrifying. But it only happens from one enemy type in basically one location, and it's fixable.
No, there's
like
2 enemies. There's 2 enemies.
It's really hard to get cursed by a crystal golem.
Oh, there's 3 enemies then. I was thinking of the basilisks.
No, I was only talking about the basilisk. That's the only one that it really ever does to anybody.
Oh no, the ghosts do that as well. And that's the only one that I've been.
No, the ghosts don't curse you.
Are you sure?
You have to use a transient curse to fight them. There's an item called the transient curse, which is a weird little hand. You can consume that in order to hit ghosts. Otherwise, you can't hurt them at all, and you have to run past them.
I thought they cursed you.
If you want to go back to 2011, you can watch me and Andrew find New Londo Ruins like first-ish, because we didn't know which way to go. We went to the graveyard and New Londo Ruins before we ever found Undead Berg, and we spent hours trying to figure them out. It's like, and like the reputation of Dark Souls is that it's hard, so we're like, oh wow, this game really is hard. You have to get past this whole ghost area and you can't fight anybody. It's crazy.
Well, it's hard, but not that hard.
Yeah, the reputation just actively fucked with your ability to tell whether or not you're going the wrong way.
It's not that hard though. It's not that hard. It's like it's just their expectation to what the game is going to be. You're not playing Destiny here.
Souls games are often not as hard as their reputation dictates, but at times they kind of are.
That's the thing though, is like with Soul games, I struggle a lot with trying to figure out how much stuff is a challenge and how much of it is bad design. Because there is this like window of leniency you get when you make a challenging game where people will like gloss over certain parts of it in the assumption that this was made for increased difficulty, when it really is just like, oh no, they just fucked up. Like, this is just a bad, like Hydra twice is not because of increased difficulty. That's just bad design. Like, they just did a bad thing. And like,
yeah, or fighting something like the ceaseless discharge. It's just a giant flail thing that you basically can't even fit on your screen, and if it does like end up hitting you, it's like you can't really even like see the attack or react to it. Like, it's just like an awkward set piece. It's like that game's janky version of the ancient dragon or super dragon god ultra mega super saiyan from Demon Souls.
I looked it up very quickly to see what I was mixing up with the ghosts of New Londo in Dark Souls 1. And it so happens that if you are cursed, with the 50% health reduction, you can actually do damage to the ghosts without using the transient curse. That's what I was remembering.
You can also curse your weapon.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because you can like have a fire weapon or a magic weapon and so on. Like, you can have a curse weapon, and if you curse your weapon, then you can fight the ghosts. And if you get a holy weapon, then all of the skeletons in the catacombs die permanently when you kill them. So you don't have to deal with the necromancers. Besides, killing them when you get to them. There's a bunch of tips and tricks, yo. Yeah, difficulty is weird for the Souls games. Like I'm at a point where I think I haven't played them for a while now, but I don't think I would find anything in Demon's Souls or Dark Souls 1 particularly challenging. And I'm only worried about like a couple of bosses in all of Dark Souls 2. But then like Sekiro instills fear in me. And I'm nervous about playing Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne again because of like
Dark Souls 3 is easy.
Them being pretty rough. Well, Dark Souls 3 is DLC.
Oh, the
it's
DLC
pretty fucking absurd. Like
is
the
very
two
difficult,
demons fight, or the fucking the
the two demons,
or the sand dunes
I didn't
fight,
like it.
all the different things. It's just
I didn't like it, but I can beat it easily now. It's a learnable fight. It's not a bollocks fight like, for example,
it's just some of those fights that are just a lot. They're just a lot. Yeah, the one where you fight two cats. Oh God.
Yeah,
Ludwig
that's a bollocks
Zullen,
fight.
or Ludenzullen.
I don't know. I missed that fight altogether because the map is so bad that you can't even find the exit. And it's like, oh, must have nothing because that's not the way
I was
for the
having a
boss.
fucking breakdown that day. Like then I had to record that fight because I couldn't fucking reach it. Like every single attempt against Ludenzullen is you trying to get past this infinite storm of fucking reindeer in a blizzard, and you can't see which way you're going, and you're not really sure. So you try to like come up with a consistent methodology from run to run, and whether you'll make it or not is completely up in the air because you're just getting charged at by infinite reindeer every attempt, and it's a long run in a blizzard. You're like, how the fuck do this? Like, I love Dark Souls 2, but that entire zone is a crime.
Oh, that DLC, yeah,
it's a bad.
I think
zone
the
that leads
DLCs
to
are
a
way too
bad
difficult.
Boss fight.
Which is again,
I like that DLC,
at what
though.
point? At what point do you have to
that's my favorite as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wonder at what point do you like point your finger and go like, see, like this is what I'm talking about. This is bad. It's not that I'm bad. It's that this is bad.
Boy, it's just people throw ideas around and stuff, and some of them make it into the game when they probably shouldn't. I mean, I just played fucking Skyward Sword. I like a lot of Skyward Sword, but boy, there's entire parts of the game that are like, why'd this make it in? Why did you do this to me? Including the entire bird. Just a whole mechanic that goes nowhere and makes the game worse the whole time it's there.
Especially you.
Oh.
Little red
I don't
bird.
know.
Yeah,
Why
it's
didn't you
on
like
the
the
cover,
bird?
like it's important, and it's like this entire mechanic's stupid, and it makes the game worse.
Why? I know you didn't like it. You mentioned it in a few episodes. Why? But why exactly? I didn't quite understand.
What is it good
I know
for?
it's not. Yeah, it's not a very deep mechanic, but it doesn't make the game worse.
It's not even just that it's not deep; it doesn't do anything
Yes.
ever.
Yeah, you don't
Fair.
actively do anything.
You
with
have
the
to
bird. The
learn
bird
this
isn't-
entire alternate way of flying around the hub world, except it's not a real hub world. It's basically just a way to get between the town and the other tinier part of town that's not at town for some reason.
It's the fast travel minigame.
And then the ghost area. There's no fast traveling in the game.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if they had fast travel, they wouldn't have the bird. It's a fast travel minigame.
Just give us fucking fast travel. Just let
But
me
what I'm saying is, like,
just have the 3 fucking beams of light be on different sides of town, and I just yeet myself off the cliff and like fucking and just like parachute down to those 3 locations.
you know Zelda. You know
It's
Zelda
like,
more than I do.
here's a shitty bird that you get to awkwardly flight control, and like there's so many baffling things. Like one of them is like you aim where you're going with your right hand with the Wiimote. It's like, okay, and then how do you fucking fly? By shaking the Wiimote that you're using to aim. It's like, okay,
Oh, no.
what the fuck? I have a nunchuck. Why don't I shake the nunchuck to flap my wings? Like, why the fuck isn't that the controls? Why am I shaking the thing that I also use to point in directions? And if you shake it not lightly enough, your character just lightly wobbles. But if you shake it hard enough for it to do it, then like the fucking Wii sensor can like get slightly off via the motion and has to like get used to it, so it might just start drifting in a direction and so on. But it's also but there's no mechanics. You don't do anything with the bird ever. You literally
I know.
once with the whale do a little spin dash into its little like boils or whatever, And that's it. That's the only time the bird comes up. You don't do sky combat. There's no like, there aren't enemies that the bird meaningfully interacts with. There's just eventually that one vortexy zone where you have to do even more flying. It's basically just a time consuming way to get from spot to spot whenever you unlock a new chest on the map, which is marked on the map. And like, it would be more fun just to explore that stuff on foot, basically. But instead, it's like it's spread out by like what's often like a full minute of flying. Like it's just you're just in the empty sky, and you're just trying to get to your destination, and it's just there's nothing to do. It's boring, and it's annoying to control while it's being boring. So it's several wrong things at once. And then whenever they do throw anything at you, it's like, oh, here's a tornado. It's like, cool. You know that long boring thing you were doing? Now it's like longer and more boring because you fucked up and hit a tornado, and now you got to like reset the bird and recalibrate what direction you're going in. And it's like, that's not adding to anything. And it's like, where's the bird dungeon? Where's the part where like, oh, I got to solve this dungeon with my bird? And I was like, oh, I'm going to fight not Ganondorf. This game has a not Ganondorf in it. And it's like, obviously it's gonna be like the ending of it's gonna be like the shitty ending of the Aragon movie where they suddenly had Saphira flying even though she wasn't supposed to be flying in the first book, and then the enemy had an evil dragon made of darkness and they do a dragon fight in the air. I'm like, Ganondorf's gonna summon a not bird to fight me, and I'm gonna have to take him down in the air, or I'm gonna have to act like his air, or I'm gonna have to like drop his like airship base or whatever, and then it's gonna collide with the ground, and then I'm gonna go fight him on foot in the final boss fight. Like I'm like, surely the whole game's built around like they went all on this bird like it's so fucking important. Surely it'll finally come up in the ending, and it still didn't. The game forgot the bird existed for the entire ending and never brought it back, and then you just like wave goodbye to the bird for a second at the end for a minute. Like the bird never matters ever. It's such a waste of time.
Sequence.
There's boat dungeons in the Wind Waker game. Like
I was gonna say like at first glance you think it's just like a boat, but it isn't.
Yeah, like I also hated how boring it was to sail around in the boat in Wind Waker, and I was playing the HD version where they made it less of a pain in the ass because they used to be able to like figure out how to control the wind to make it possible. And in Wind Waker, HD, they pretty much immediately just give you the sail that makes wind always point the way you're facing, and you just get to just go like it's a car. But even then, it's like it's just a giant empty blue bullshit nothing. And like I've already been spoiled by Breath of the Wild having like stuff in its world instead of nothing in its world. So like the fact that the entire Wind Waker map is just a grid of like 5x5, and each one of those segments has one island in it where you can do one thing on it, and everything in between is just like the map being 90% empty ocean with nothing to do in it besides like they try to mix it up with mini games where it's like, ooh, I see you're going southwest for the next like 5 minutes. Here's some barrels to hit. And it's like, that's wow. Like there's literally a time wasting mini game to try to occupy you because there's nothing to fucking do. It's like, or you could just not have this. Like, why? This isn't adding to the game. But like at least Wind Waker, I could see what they're going for. The bird never matters. You're not going from place to place throughout the game because the whole game takes place in 3 locations that you just warp into, and then the bird's out of the game. Like I knew we were in trouble the moment I went to the first zone, and they're like, oh yeah, the locked ring won't come down below the clouds, so now you're just a normal Zelda boy that just walks around and does a Hyrule. And it's like, oh, okay, so the bird's immediately irrelevant like 10 minutes into this game. That's a good sign. And it never gets more relevant ever. What a fucking mistake. The fact that they couldn't even make a bird dungeon. Like, they made a boat dungeon. It made the water level go up and down, and the King of Red Lions helped you navigate the dungeon. Like, because he's a mechanic in that game. The fuck is wrong with you? It's like having a fucking dungeon where you forget to use the ocarina ever.
Did Twilight Princess come out on the Wii before Skyward Sword, or was it after?
They both came out on the Wii, but Twilight Princess was just meant to be a GameCube game, and it did come out on GameCube. It just also came out on the Wii. Just similar how the Breath of the Wild is on the Wii U, which is easy to forget, but it's also on Wii U in addition to Switch.
What I'm thinking is that maybe Skyward Sword was the first. I don't know, maybe because it was effectively the first Wii Zelda game, and the whole thing about
they did motion controls in Twilight Princess also, but in that one it just did predetermined swings when you swung, instead of trying to follow what you did. And that is the funny quirk of that they mirror imaged the entire game, because Link is left-handed canonically, but
Oh.
But most people are right-handed, so they made his motion hand. They made the motion controls be on his right hand in that game, so that most people could play the game more comfortably. And their way of getting around how the whole game was laid out and designed was just a mirror image the entire game visually, and then just flip the signs so they wouldn't be backwards. Which is fascinating. So if you read a walkthrough or look at a map of the game or something, it'll be wrong if you're playing the Wii version because the whole game's backwards. So
and the game
interesting.
doesn't tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did they not give you an option?
There's no reason to tell you because it wouldn't come up ever.
Yeah, but they could have given you an option to if you were a left-handed person.
Oh yeah, they definitely should have given you a left-handed option, but I don't think there was different settings.
It's so
Was
weird.
there not?
I don't know. I don't fucking have it. I just don't.
Yeah.
The fact that all the walkthroughs are backwards and there's no one has ever mentioned the idea that you could flip back and forth makes me think you can't.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like if the Zelda game doesn't have Ganon in it, it's probably not a good Zelda game.
Fuck you.
Ganon is the Bowser Zelda.
Majora's
stand-in,
Mask
isn't
is
he?
great.
Nah. I don't really like Majora's Mask.
Fucking great. So much better than Ocarina and his stupid Ganondorf.
What? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Majora's
Ocarina
Mask
of
has several
Wait.
like entire like levels of severity better than Ocarina of Time.
No,
Ganon-
that's absurd.
Is Ganondorf different from Ganon? Or is it just a short...
Ganon's like the
nickname?
demon form they turned
Yeah, Ganon's
into.
a demon
Oh.
form.
In some games he's only Ganon, and in some games he's Ganondorf, and then he like awakens into the Ganon form later when you're fighting him. In some games
Yeah.
he just never does.
Ganondorf is
forgot.
the man. Yeah, Ganondorf is the man, Ganon is the demon.
I think they reversed it once. In Twilight Princess, doesn't he fight you as a boar first, then as Ganondorf on a horse?
I think so.
How did you even get there? Did he like go? Did he suck you into like a dimension? That was weird.
That sounds
don't-
plausible.
Yeah, it
'Cause,
was
like,
remember there's
because
like a
you're-
dark world. There's like a opposite world.
Because like you're fighting
that,
the boar in like a church or a castle or something, and then suddenly you're in
it's
the
a
open
castle.
fields, and I'm like, I don't remember how that happened. I don't remember how you got from one to the other.
Wait, that's Breath of the Wild did that.
No, because
Sorry, well, Breath of the Wild also did that.
you're fighting a horseback Ganondorf in Twilight Princess.
Yes.
In Breath of the Wild, you fight a super demon. Speaking of remembering to fucking incorporate your mount in the boss fight, Twilight Princess, literally the previous game before Skyward Sword incorporated Epona into the boss fight.
Yeah.
Like, let's fuck this bird. Fuck it. Throw it in the garbage.
It's
But then leave it in the game for some reason.
I don't like non-Ganon Zelda games. They're not fun to me. I like the idea of like fighting this. I don't know. I always like the idea that there is this never-ending cycle of like, all right, shit. There's always a Zelda, always a Link, always a Ganon. God damn. Whereas when that doesn't happen, it feels weird because like who has the third part of the Triforce? That's the whole fucking point. It's
I
like
don't like that the last
Triforce.
two boss fights before the last two games before Breath of the Wild had a different villain that I actually was like, oh, look at this guy, he's neat. What's his deal? And then it's like, and Ganondorf. Like it's just another fucking disciple that wants to summon the Ganondorf or the Ganondorf-like guy. And they're like, God damn it! I was already fighting
because
a dude.
Ganon's like the coolest guy ever.
But it means you fight a guy that like just comes out of nowhere, and it's like, oh, okay, here's this guy.
Well,
What's
that's
his
why I
deal?
don't like.
Wow.
That's why I do not like games that don't feature Ganon as the antagonist.
Ganondorf peaked in Wind Waker, where he looked fucking incredible.
Like, what, he looked like an annoyed dad,
And he gets the most metal death, and he gets the most metal death of just being impaled through the head, and then maybe exploding.
Wow.
I don't remember.
Yeah, like I remember they did the Link Between Worlds, and I didn't like that because it was
Painting guy.
it was too. Yeah, the painting guy, and he's like, I'm gonna be better than Ganon. Ganon's like, what the fuck? Who the fuck are you? What the
Link
fuck?
to the Past is an evil wizard.
Yeah, I just don't really like the ones that are people like, I want to summon Ganon, because it always just turns out the same way, which is Ganon shows up and goes like, or no, and then just kills them, and it's like, hello, Link, and it's like, well, thanks, dude. Thanks for like summoning Lucifer to a fight against like a dog. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's the weirdest. It's always the weirdest feeling where you're like, I spent the whole time trying to deal with this guy, and Ganon just one-shots him. All right, cool. Whereas when Ganon's there, like in Ocarina of Time, where you're like, all right, Ganon, time to kick your ass. He's like, what? Who the fuck are you? No, I'm going to kick your ass. And he just like cracks his knuckles, turns into a giant boar. And you're like, oh fuck, maybe he's right. Like, shit.
He's going to kick my ass.
Yeah, he's like, oh, fuck.
Somebody catch that grill that's flying away because these stakes just got raised.
Like, Link to the Past is great about that, where you go to like, you're in the light world, and then you go back and you're like, wait a second. Didn't I already win? And it's like, yeah, against Ganon, dwarf. And you're like, uh-oh, wait, what does that mean? It's like, da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like, oh shit, what's that guy? Which is just great. I love that. It's your first time finding out about him existing. I don't know. Anyways,
I don't like pretty much any story where a villain just comes out of nowhere at the end. You're like, oh, here's the villain now. I'm like, who are you?
Oh yeah, you don't want your
villain
your villain should always be somebody that you have like emotional weight to. And that's why I do not like a Majora's Mask, because your main villain is Skull Kid, and like I don't give a fuck about that guy. Like
I like Skull Kid.
I'm more upset about like the Happy Mask Salesman or the literal fucking moon. Those are two things that are like impeding threats, but like fucking Skull Kid? Come on, man.
Yeah, Skull Kid's just why the moon's happening. You can't really fight the moon. It's a little hard.
That's what I'm saying. You can't fight the moon. That's what I want to do. I want to fight the moon. Like when you fight fucking Ganondorf as a pig, people are like, you can't fight a giant pig. I'm like, fucking watch me. Roll up my fucking tunic sleeves. walk over there and just beat him to death.
You just knock it back like one of Ganon's projections.
Yeah.
You want Zelda to become Gurren Lagann?
Like basically,
it'd be Ashura's Wrath.
It's ridiculous.
Be a weird
like
tone change at the end of a Zelda.
I mean, Breath of the Wild's that way. Breath of the Wild, you show up and it's like, hey, here's a little thing. You're like, all right, I can fight that. And then it gets like ridiculously big. You're like, I can still fight that. You just fucking roll up your sleeves. You fucking eat a bunch of food and pull out a bow. And it's like, oh, okay, wait a second. That's a little. This is getting a little intense. It's like, no, we're gonna fight, dude. Fuck you.
The bow carries a lot.
Well, yeah, but
Breath of the Wild.
But that's the thing is like, well, I mean, the beginning first fight, all you do is you just eat a bunch of food, get ripped as shit, walk over and just start hitting him with every weapon in your inventory. And he's like, okay, stop. Okay, stop. Dude, like when you eat food, it's like, all right, I'm gonna buff my attack. I'm gonna give myself more health. I'm gonna give myself more speed. You just hella fucking chonk. And then you just go to a boss and I was like, what the fuck? And then you just start beating it to death. And it's like, oh God, stop.
He food ripped though.
I mean, and then he like leaves. He literally Ganon flees from the building you're in. He just leaves the castle like, nope, I'm out of this place. And then you just come in front of him and he's like, Jesus Christ, dude, get the fuck out of here. And you're like, all right, bud, time for a bow fight. It's like, what the this Link guy's a little extreme. I mean, Wind Waker's the same way, where it's like, all right, fuck this kid.
I just think of like the canon, like the speedrunner version of Link, where it's just he is just a fucking nightmare that like flies at you from across the map on a shield and then 3-shots you with some weird backflip shit. You're like, when the Legend of Zelda was 13 seconds long, what the fuck just happened?
That's what I mean. Like that's what it feels like though. When you fight this enemy that feels too big, like it's the fight is too impossible to win, and then you walk up and you're just like, no, and you just start attacking the boss like, whoa, wait, no one's ever done this, stop. Like you're just like beating the shit out of somebody who just doesn't.
Like, oh, all right, I just spent the last 100 years holding it back. You at least pretend it was hard.
like Ocarina of Time is hilarious because you as a child teleport to the future. You don't grow up. You're just still a kid in a big man's body, and you just walk up. You're like ba ba ba, and then again it's just like I'm gonna fucking kill you. And you're like,
of Time speedruns skip the age switch and figure out how to like skip into the end of the game. Is
like,
that a thing?
Unfortunately, you can't. No, you have to like no, but like canonically in the game, you don't age. You touch the sword. You touch the
You teleport into your own future body, which is baffling.
Yeah, but
So you don't
presumably
age,
you as a child didn't mentally age to an adult. You're still this dumb fucking kid.
I always found that
so
off-putting and weird that like you just lose a bunch. Like instead of just teleporting into the future, they make you an adult for some reason, but you also didn't experience that time. Like you weren't like in the hyperbolic time chamber, like training or anything that whole time.
Exactly.
You just magically are in an older body that you shouldn't really know how to use that well. So you should be worse than ever at being the hero, but also horrified that you're suddenly have lost like 10 years of your life essentially. and
it's not a good 10 years. You show up and everything's bad. You're like, uh-oh, fuck.
Actually, the entire time travel doesn't make sense. Like, and all of its timelines like aggressively don't make sense in Zelda, and they're
not supposed to.
I don't think there's a single logical argument that makes sense about how any of it's supposed to work. But then at the
Zelda
same
game is supposed to be its own episodic game.
Oh yeah, no, like, I don't mean timelines. But specifically, but what is I just mean time travel and the fact that there are multiple Zelda games with time travel in them.
Gotcha.
Ocarina of Time and Skyward Sword both have time travel, and not only is the time travel not internally consistent inside the game on how it works and what it means and so on, the fact that you can travel back and forth in time to affect stuff in that timeline contradicts the entire idea of a Zelda universe of timelines, because those are fractured timelines about different outcomes. But canonically, there can't be multiple timelines that are parallel to each other in Zelda, because you affect your own timeline, which means there's one time stream that you can edit by going forward and backwards in time, which means that time travel does not create alternate dimensions. It's like the entire Zelda timeline is not, it doesn't jive with the actual logic of any of the time travel games.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, no, but that's what it is. No, you're wrong. And I'm like, no, I've thought about this too much now because you guys keep fucking arguing with me. You're still wrong. the entire Zelda timeline, which yes, was never supposed to be real. It was always bullshit. It went from not existing at all and being stupid fanon to being a fucking poorly thrown together fan service thing in one book once, which was attached to Skyward Sword. It's literally the timeline. The official timeline was invented by the worst Zelda game according to most people, but they fucking glom onto that part so hard. But then at the same time, whenever people come up with whenever there's explanations given, like, oh yeah, and Breath of the Wild takes place after all the timelines, they all converge into Breath of the Wild somehow, then people are like, no, the official timeline's actually wrong. I have the correct timeline. And it's like, the timeline doesn't exist. There's no timeline. They just make a Zelda game because they want to.
Yeah.
And then they'll have like an Easter egg here and there, and that's it. Like, that's all there is to it. They do a cute nod to other Zelda games every now and then, but that doesn't actually, it's not actually supposed to imply that they exist in a continuity.
I don't really want there to be continuity, because then it makes it more stupid.
Which Link has crossbow training? Which one is that?
Yeah, like how I don't understand. Like, so how many people are naming their fucking kid Link? Like,
I mean, none of them. Who would name their kid Link? I named them Chert.
Nobody. It's always Chert and
but you know what I mean? Like the mythology. Like Skyward Sword does. It's like the mythology is that there's always a Link, there's always a Zelda, there's always a Ganon. It's like, who's fucking doing this? Who keeps naming their kid? Who would name their kid Ganondorf? You fucking asshole! I don't like, you literally give birth to somebody. You're like, yeah, you're gonna be the fucking bad guy in our story. Here you go, Ganondorf.
Because like Ganondorf doesn't exist as a normal person in like any of the games besides Ocarina, I think.
I thought Ganondorf is
because like in Ocarina he's like meeting with the king and shit, and he's like a normal citizen or some shit, and it's like, but there's also an evil Dark Lord, but like, and pretty much all the other ones he often doesn't even exist in the world until the final boss fight where he gets summoned. And in other cases, he was always a Dark Lord that never has like the pretense of being like a normal citizen. So the idea that he was I was born to normal parents and named Ganondorf for some reason, like, doesn't necessarily enter the equation.
No, that is canonical. The canon is that
in what
Ganondorf.
Game,
in any game that has Gerudos. So if Gerudos exist in that game, then canonically Ganondorf exists. He is the Prince of Thieves.
Isn't that basically just Ocarina and Breath of the Wild?
I think it's also in Link to the Past. Let me check. But anyways, also Twilight Princess.
In Twilight Princess, he's summoned by Zant.
So, I thought Ganon was summoned by Zant.
Yeah.
But Ganondorf still exists.
And he never shows up in the game ever. Zant summons him. But I think that one did have did it have Gerudo in it? I don't think the desert had any Gerudo in it.
I don't know these details.
Twilight Princess Gerudo. Fucking nerdiest thing I've ever encountered was just like it's just like that was like overhyping a little bit, but just like a reaction out. Yeah, when I type Twilight Princess Gerudo, I don't get a single image of a Gerudo. I don't think they're in that game. There was a time where I just mentioned the Master Sword because I was playing some of the earlier playthroughs on my channel, and I was and like fucking like psychosomatically and automatically or whatever the fuck. It's like fucking Andrew's like, the Sword of Evil's Bane. And I was like, no, I'm not ready for this. Like just like churning out the phrase. I'm like, oh god, no.
Yeah, no, okay. So yeah, the problem is this is why you should never make a timeline for video games.
You're looking at timelines?
Well, no, the problem is like, so canonically in like the beginning of this thing, the story is that like in Link to the Past, the story is that there is a hero, there's a princess, and there's an evil guy. So Zelda, Link, Ganon. Ganondorf gets introduced in Ocarina of Time to be the catalyst for Ganon. Like that is where Ganon is always hiding, is inside of Ganondorf. But then you have like later incarnations because they want to do this stupid fucking timeline where like this is when Ganon gets defeated, or Ganondorf gets defeated. So Ganon goes back to the ether or like hell or whatever. And so whenever you want to summon Ganon, you have to summon Ganondorf with him like a fucking attachment piece. Like Ganon can't exist without Ganondorf being there. So in Twilight Princess, technically he's Zan summoning Ganon, but Ganondorf is the one that gets summoned because Ganon can't exist without Ganondorf, which is like this fucking mind-numbing thing. So technically, yes, he was trying to summon Ganon, the Dark Lord, but in the game, in Twilight Princess at least, he summons Ganondorf, which is the person, the guy who
it's basically like calling Batman, but first the Butler shows up and then Batman shows up.
So it's the idea of like the Joker and Batman, and they go like, yeah, but there's like other Jokers. You're like, there's other Jokers? Like, well, sort of, yes, kinda. Like, there's other, because like Ganondorf isn't the same Ganondorf each fucking game. So like the Ganondorf, even though like Wind Waker takes place after Ocarina of Time because you go to the Ocarina of Time Hyrule underneath the water, like that is, so Wind Waker is canonically following Ocarina of Time. But the Ganondorf in Wind Waker is not the same Ganondorf from Ocarina of Time. It's a very obviously different Ganondorf. Like, fuck. Like, come on.
He's just resurrected. Woo.
But he's not resurrected, because that's the thing. Is
the
like
timeline says he's resurrected.
Different game.
But he can't be resurrected because
the timeline says the Wind Waker. Ganondorf is resurrected. I'm looking at it. It also says that a lot.
Yeah, because he always gets resurrected, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying like Ganondorf as the guy. Ganondorf is a literal fucking
even before
male
Ganon gets
Garuda.
introduced, they used to just fucking resurrect Vati over and over again. There's a bunch of resurrections of Vati, then there's Ganondorf, and then that's this 3 separate timelines where every single game just says again that either Ganondorf or Ganon is resurrected again and again and again and again.
Like, and again, if you just made this like episodic and you just say there's always a Link, a Zelda, Ganondorf, and you just have a unique different world that they're all a part of, that would be fine. Like, this is the Zelda game where everything's in the sky.
No,
There's
we gotta
no
have
ground.
the ZCU.
There is ground though.
But I'm saying like, you know, you can have like the Zelda game where it's like it's all in the sky now. There's no like Lake Hyrule because LOL. There's no like lakes or whatever. You could just have fun with it. But instead they're like, yeah, but Hyrule exists on the ground, and like, you know, it's still the same Zelda game. It's all right. It's just this takes place like before the other ones. Like, no, I don't fucking care. Just like give me the story of the hero saving the princess, vice versa. I don't give a shit. And fighting Ganon. Like, I just want to see somebody, either cute Link, cute Zelda, fighting ugly Ganon, and that's all I'm there for. That's the whole point of the game. And that's it. So that's it. Either way, Ganon's always a fun boss fight. Because at least it feels purposeful. It feels like that is what you've always been building up to, is fighting this guy.
But is the Ganon canon?
Well, that is up to however much pain you want to put yourself through. I like there's a Wikipedia article for his powers and skills, and all of them are just kind of a lot. Like superhuman strength, speed, ability, durability, stamina, endurance, fighting, skills, prowess, magic, sorcery, or ergokinesis, geokinesis, animal writing, which is not a superpower, but intelligence, knowledge, strategy,
but
tactics, monster
does
control. Like he literally, his powers and skills is longer than the list of games he's in. Like, that's really impressive, honestly. Like, it's, I don't know.
I just found another timeline made by somebody that has another three-way branching path.
Just don't.
Because it has the hero is successful and heroes defeated timelines, and then the successful timelines split into child and adult timelines. But then in the heroes defeated timeline, after Triforce Heroes, there's a split where the hero arrives early, or the hero arrives late, or the hero does not arrive. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Wait, does that happen in the game?
I don't even know what they're talking about. They're like, I'm going to create a timeline where Triforce Heroes is in the timeline, and that explains when Link the Faces of Evil happens. And all the fucking CDI games and Game & Watch Zelda and Third Quest.
CDI games? There's Zelda CDI the games?
Yeah.
You don't know about those?
No.
Oh.
Isn't CDI from Sega?
Those are no, that's Philips. Those are the infamous Zelda games. Those have a reputation.
I can imagine.
They're I think the CDI games, along with the Mario movie, are part of why Nintendo wouldn't let anyone touch their stuff for like 20 years.
Which is, I mean, a good idea. Yeah, you should never let people you can't trust.
Wasn't the Mario movie actually good?
It is. Some people love it.
The Mario movie was not.
It's often placed in a particular part of their life for the way that you just automatically look back on stuff fondly if you experience it in that window.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think the Mario movie is a good Mario movie. Like, I guess that's
baffling.
The way to put it. Like, I don't see how in any way it could be.
Like, I keep playing with the idea that as an alternative to podcasts, every now and then we might watch a movie together and just commentate over that. And that is certainly a candidate. That movie's fucking baffling.
It's a weird movie, man.
The whole world is weird visually too. Like,
but the thing is, it's not bad. Like, I like this idea of a weird dinosaur dystopia.
Dark and body horror-y.
Yeah, it's silly and funny, and I would be totally down for it. But like, then when you go like, yeah, it's Mario, and that's Bowser. It's like,
yeah,
okay,
it's Mario,
well, like,
Mario, and Luigi Mario.
What if you just like didn't name them that? Like, what if you called
Mario
them
Mario?
Did he
actually
else?
get?
That's their name.
Yeah,
their names are Mario Mario and Luigi Mario.
Well, they're the Mario brothers.
Yeah.
So how could they be the Mario brothers?
But that's not canon,
Mario.
That's not canon, is it?
Yeah, it is.
It is? They're actually No way.
Yes.
Nintendo acknowledges that his surname is Mario.
Yes.
I can't. That's okay. Well,
I mean, so during back in 2012, Miyamoto did an interview where he said that Mario's name is just Mario, but Luigi is Mario Luigi.
Luigi Mario.
Yeah.
No, which one is it? Is it Mario Luigi or Luigi Mario?
It's Luigi Mario. First name's
Yeah, it's
Luigi.
Mario.
It's still a
Which,
little bit
that
worrisome,
only
but
adds more questions. Like
it does.
he gave an answer that made things more muddied because it's like, how do names work in this universe? Why is only one of them's last name Mario and the other one's just named Mario?
So the problem is, like, originally when they created this, it wasn't Mario. Obviously, it was their idea was doing like the Mickey Mouse thing, where like Mickey Mouse's name isn't Mickey Mouse Disney. Like that.
No, his name
stupid.
is Mickey.
No,
Mouse.
no, his
Mr.
name
Mouse.
is Mickey Mouse. His
Mr.
full
Mouse
name is
Esquire.
his first name is Mickey Mouse. That's his first name. He does not canonically have a last name.
I hate that.
If you like that, if you look at like any kind of license stuff, like, you know, they do this stupid cartoonish whatever, his name is just, it just says full name Mickey Mouse, but they don't ever put like a first and last name because that he doesn't have a fucking last name. And so that was the idea behind Mario, is that Mario and Luigi don't have last names because they're just like Mario, Luigi. That's it. It's like Donkey Kong doesn't have a last name. It's not Donkey Kong Donkey. Like, I don't know.
It should be called Donkey. Just hey, Mr. Donkey Kong, Mr. Kong. I don't know. That makes more sense than Mario.
Like Kong isn't the last name though. Like,
is it not?
No.
What? Because what is it? Monkey, right?
His name's just Donkey Kong.
His name should be Donkey, first name, Kong, last name, or vice versa.
His first name's not Donkey. Donkey.
Donkey. Yeah, it should be. Why is it called Donkey Kong if it's a monkey then?
What?
Right? Am I?
Well,
yeah, it's a monkey.
Well, they can't call it King Kong because that's a taken name.
Why don't they no, they just need to call it Monkey Kong, or instead of making it a monkey, or make it a donkey instead of a monkey. Did they go with the wrong name? Did they do what I did in fifth grade?
They wanted to go with a monkey because they were very clearly and unapologetically copying King Kong. It's a gorilla who kidnapped a girl and climbed to the top of a construction building, basically the Empire State Building, and throwing barrels down at a plumber. Like, yeah, this isn't original. But you're not gonna call. You can't just go out balls in their face and go like, yeah, this is our video game character King Kong. You know, reference based on the King Kong franchise. Someone's like, I made that though. It's like, no, it's fine now. So like, you know, Donkey Kong. But I don't know. I don't. You have to ask Miyamoto why he called him Donkey. I don't.
I thought his name was Donkey Kong. What's his name then? Just Kong?
No, his name is Donkey Kong. He's like Mickey Mouse. His full name is just Donkey Kong, but he doesn't have a last name. He's not Donkey Kong Kong, like, or he's not Donkey Kong Donkey.
Donkey is the first name. Kong is the second name. Is the last name.
No, the first name is
doesn't work as
Donkey Kong. Doesn't have a last name.
What's his son's name?
Donkey Kong Jr.
See, it works the normal way. Your last name would work.
I mean, but Diddy Kong isn't his child. Diddy Kong's not related to him.
It's fine.
No, Diddy Kong's not related to him at all. Neither is Dixie Kong. Cranky Kong is, but not Funky Kong. There's people with the same surname. Neither is Trixie Kong, who is someone that canonically Donkey Kong is trying to go out, or canonically Donkey Kong's girlfriend. So that would mean he's dating somebody who's related to him.
That's okay in the monkey world.
Kong is it? No, it's not. Incest still is not okay in the monkey world. It's just again, like, fake people don't have to follow real world rules. I say that, but like, there's a lot of places that actually don't even have surnames either. That's a huge problem with, like, a lot of countries don't have surnames because that's a thing you can just not have. People just don't have them, and we live in a world where everybody has to have a last name because I guess it would upset someone's Excel spreadsheet if it didn't have a last name.
Yeah, because Europe mostly.
I mean, that was the thing with Mario. Is like the only reason that happened was because the movie was being made and the filmmakers didn't understand that Mario didn't have a last name. They're like, that doesn't make sense. What's
the world cannot exist when a person doesn't have a last name.
He has to be Mario something, and Miyamoto's like, he's Mario. That's it. Is that good enough? It's like, no, he needs a last name. It's like, well, fucking Mario Bros. Then they're both Mario. Fuck it. Like, I don't, Miyamoto's also just a big ol' I don't give a fuck guy. Like, he doesn't give a shit about 90% of the stuff that goes on. He just wants to make fun things.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That's why the Zelda timeline's the way it is, because Miyamoto never made Zelda with a timeline. He didn't come up as like, oh, I've got this great big brain strategy. He's like, what if we explored the forest? It's like, sure, sounds fun. What are we gonna do with it? I don't know, kill a bad guy? All right, done. Here you go, Miyamoto.
So far we've answered 1/3 of one email.
Let's do another question.
Let's do the other third.
I'm gonna veto the second question in this email.
Okay.
It's unanswerable. You just can't do this.
Okay. It sounds like a challenge, but all right.
It says another question for the crew. What fictional character's death had the most impact on you? I'm like, nope.
Yep.
Fucking, you literally start answering this question, it's already a spoiler. You can't even spoiler warning the fucking thing, because if you say what your spoiler warning, it's already spoiling the fucking thing. Like, this is a fucking minefield question that you can't answer on a podcast. It's just
Jesus Christ.
It's such a bad idea question. It's like no. Like being, what's your favorite plot twist? Like, motherfucker, I haven't seen Rosebud.
I would.
No, stop. Don't answer it. This one's specifically for Colonel. As an outsider looking in, have you noticed any fundamental differences between American and Portuguese media? To what degree does that impact your consumption of American media?
That's an interesting question. I think Portuguese media is very influenced by two fronts, the Brazilian novellas and just American cinema in general. And I do think there's a lot of copycats going on. It's not necessarily copycats, but, original Portuguese productions of media tend to take a lot of its ideas from foreign stuff. There's rarely anything that's truly original. So how it impacted me is that I just usually go for the original, American or British media. I don't consume a lot of Portuguese media, especially the novellas, because the novellas tend to be they're focused on the keeping you hooked and watching every day or every week or however often the episodes go up. So they're really there to create a habit of you getting to know the characters. It's soap operas, you know how it is. But yeah, it's not. I think there's some TV series that I've watched, specifically TV series, not movies. We don't have a big cinema industry or any cinema industry at all. There's one in particular that I watched that was interesting. That was really well done, actually. It was specifically about the history of Portugal living under the dictatorship that we had here until the 70s, and of course that sort of work. Me myself having majored in archaeology and having always had a strong interest in history, it sort of speaks to me thinking of stuff how it used to be and how, learning about that's very important for me. So that sort of stuff is always interesting, but fictional stuff, not so much. Like Game of Thrones or anything. There is a Portuguese Game of Thrones, by the way. I've never read it.
Portuguese Game of Thrones?
Yeah, but people would be like, oh yeah.
Like a knockoff or a translation?
No, like a work with a similar breadth and similar sort of aspirations and scope. Scope is probably the word. And it's written by a Portuguese author. I think it's translated as well. I don't actually know the name, so I'm sorry. I'm just I'm just saying it. But yeah, I don't consume Portuguese media for the most part. Sorry.
An attempt was made.
Mm-hmm.
I give you the "you tried" star.
I don't know. I wanted to make the.
It's always a little rough though when you're like, it's like, hey, you're a thing. Please, spokesperson for the people that you are. It's like, I'm not a good example of the people I am. Maybe
I'm an example of myself.
Yeah.
Only.
That's that email. Gone. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you for the questions.
Alan Bettendorf asks, I was curious, since all of you probably played so many games by now, what was the worst game you've ever played? I wonder what the answer from Andrew's going to be. What's the worst game you've ever played from a narrative perspective, and what was the worst game you played from a gameplay perspective?
Interesting choices there.
From a gameplay perspective is kind of a tough one.
It's interesting to think of those two as separate. I suppose they are, but the point is, like, when you think of a terrible game,
games are almost famous for divorcing gameplay from story in many ways.
Yeah, but
from any meaningful contact.
But you're saying it's the worst game.
I would say Uncharted is probably the most boring fucking game I've ever played in my entire life.
Like mechanically?
Yeah, mechanically speaking, it's just fucking, just don't even bother.
Especially the first one.
Yeah,
it's the most rote, nothing third-person shooter.
I've played all 4 of them, and I have never once walked away going, "Oh, this was a good this is a good use of my time." Like, all of them were just, I could throw them away, and the world would have not changed at any point. Like, we would have only had a better society without those games. Narratively speaking, obviously, it's Zero Escape. Like, you can't fucking write a video game. You can't write something like that and sell it to people without getting some kind of punishment, like karma-wise, later down life.
It's
like,
also
that's
just
an
remarkable how
unacceptable.
much worse it was than the previous game, which is already a low point.
It's truly impressive that a game that multiple people have said various different points of the game, which 1, 2, and 3 are all good, the good versions of the game. And then realizing that not only are none of them good, but they keep cascadingly getting worse, which is like, what the fuck? How did this happen? How did any of you go in here and walk away with any positive feeling? That is something that could probably do with some good actual research done on, because there's some magic going on there. There's some kind of like, there's a disease that we probably don't know about, and we need to get it fixed, because you cannot reasonably consume Zero Escape, any of them, and walk away with a positive feeling. Like, you can't. That's just not okay. But those are my 2. So
yeah, I'm trying to say anything other than Zero Escape, which is a little hard, because it just, if no other reason than it's just so memorable for being bad there that it's hard to think of other stuff. Because some of the other stuff that it's been bad, like, I think I remember.
Well, think about like
I think I remember, like, for example, like Wasteland 3 and Mass Effect Andromeda and Elex all being like these janky RPGs where the narrative was almost entirely incoherent throughout the playthrough, but then especially just like completely fails to come together in any meaningful way at the end. Or I don't remember the specifics anymore, really, so it's kind of rough. But I feel like I remember Elex just like kind of just ending, like it just gave up towards the end and was like, a good example of that actually is Fallout 4, because Fallout 4 has no meaningful choices throughout the entire game, except about halfway through the game you pick a covenant, you pick a faction to like do the ending for, essentially, and then it locks you in, and you just have to do their quests exactly how they ask, or you instantly fail out of their entire quest chain, and then you get stuck in the fucking garbage pit that is doing Preston's ending. Like, he just exists to catch you when you fail somebody else's storyline. And so, like, I'm so fucking mad that they're setting up all these complex interactions. Like, oh, wow, here's this troublesome stuff about, like, here's what the Institute's actually up to. Like, you can find documents about, like, what they're, like, bad things that they're doing that are way worse than they're telling you that they're doing. But then, like, the game just completely failed to have the fundamental basic thing that so many other games would have, which is that if they give you that kind of information, it would have a trigger that means you now can ask people about that or talk about that and confront somebody about that. Like, it would create a new objective. Like, wow, I found a secret and it affects the story. But instead, you just never can talk to a single person about the objectionable thing you just read about. And then you get brought on a kidnapping mission and you can't do anything besides say yes or just decide to start shooting people. And if you shoot anybody, the quest freaks out and everyone blinks out of existence simultaneously, including the person that was being kidnapped. You can't save them. And then you instantly failed the entire quest chain with no dialogue, and you just have to go do the Preston's ending now. It's like such a shitty RPG, and it just came together so horribly. There's a lot of Western RPGs that just, like, they they pretend to have some options and interactions, and like, wow, you can shoot people to affect the outcome, right? But the entire game will break instantly, and you'll functionally just delete most of the content. Like we shot Reagan, the Reagan statue in Wasteland 3 and lost like 3 entire zones of quests instantly. Like,
I was gonna say, be careful about that, because someone also did try doing that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. Zero Escape obviously is just a big incoherent mess. There's issues to be raised about various David Cage games.
Oh yeah, what about you didn't like the ending to Beyond Us or Beyond
or Life is Strange, Before the Storm being one of the worst prequels ever.
Yeah.
Where like episode 1 of Before the Storm is like vaguely okay, and then each one gets dramatically worse until the final episode is just incoherent nonsense. And those people are apparently making Life is Strange season 3, so buckle up, boyos. Or it's not called season 3, it's whatever it's like Beyond Color or whatever it's called.
Wait, who's making it? The people who made the first one?
Like Before the Storm. Incredibly horrible prequel to Life is Strange where you play as Chloe. It's so bad. Every episode of Before the Storm gets worse and worse and worse until it just shits itself and dies by the end. It's like, oh,
wow,
okay. Oh god, what was the example? Fuck. No, I just had is the trouble about trying to list these things, but also trying to finish talking about the thing you're talking about. I had another talked about.
David Cage might have been around there.
It was something else I wanted to mention. We mentioned David Cage. We mentioned. God damn it! I had such a good example. Mentioned a bunch of RPGs.
I was. Do you want us to wait or?
Well, to list the worst video games for playing, it's Zenith is one of the worst video games I've ever played, but it has genuinely endearing characters and a fun story, so it's worth just stomaching how trash and bare bones the game is all the way through. It's like a weird like indie gem that I discovered one time like 4 years ago and played through because it was like, I'm happy I played this. Also, every second of gameplay was bad. And then Anima Gate of Memories is famously like my most hated playthrough I've ever done gameplay wise. It's just trash. It has like nothing going for it on a gameplay level basically ever, but then like every single enemy, even on the easiest difficulty, does way too much damage and is a massive bullet sponge, so you just sit there and hack away at the enemy for like 10 minutes every boss fight, and it's like, I can't go somewhere to grind, like I can't be stronger as far as I can tell. What the fuck is the intended playstyle of this game? It led to moments where I'm just sitting there fuming silently for 10 minutes and then abruptly exploding into sound finally. And it's just miserable. What the fuck game was I thinking about?
I don't know.
You go talk about things. I'll ignore you and try to think of the game.
I was saying that it's an interesting thing to distinguish between the worst gameplay and the worst story. Because whenever you said your least favorite or the worst game that you played, I immediately thought of all the games that I played for a little bit. And I was like, nope. And didn't play them again ever, because if like I could list like those janky games from the 2000s, shooters that just barely worked, or because there's so many shooters that were ports from the Xbox 360. The Xbox 360 had so many shooters, or strategy games that barely worked. There's so much junk like that, but like they barely work on a gameplay level. The story doesn't even matter. So when you guys started answering the question, I was like, "Oh, I see where you're coming from." It makes more sense to divide between gameplay and story when you are just talking about games that you actually finished or that you at least gave a fair shake. So I'm gonna say the worst game that I played in terms of gameplay is Kingdom Come Deliverance, because that game is jank pretty much from the beginning, and you have to be like ready to be, okay, this is a certain kind of jank. This combat is a thing. Okay, I get what they're going for.
To this
they're
day,
trying to make it realistic.
At, like every week by another person defending that game, and it's like it's just so unplayable.
Jank.
It's so bad.
It's for, like imagine playing a game and you're
like, realistic about it or whatever the
nothing.
Fuck.
Exactly, nothing is realistic about it.
That's
but
always
you
the
immediately.
defense.
You can immediately tell that that's what they were going for. Like when you play the game, you can tell immediately that, oh, they want to make it realistic. I see. And so from that perspective, you can kind of forgive the game a little bit of its jank, a little, not too many, not too much, because it's just so much. It's worse than Oblivion. And Oblivion is a janky game, but the combat isn't. But like everything else is just super janky, and the combat is janky. But then it has bugs. The exploration isn't really rewarding because it's not like it's trying to be realistic. So there's not really that much interesting stuff to find. There's like these dungeons that you find once, which are just a mine, and it's interesting because look, it's not just trees, and that was fun. But it's just in terms of gameplay, that game fails at every level. I feel. Which is kind of sad because, well, I was going to say it's kind of sad, but the story is not much better. So I guess, to each their own. But it isn't the worst game. It isn't the worst game in terms of story that I've played. I'm having trouble coming to a conclusion, but I'm going to come to the conclusion right now, and it's going to be a little bit like the Battle Royale answer by Kubrick or whoever. Pathfinder Kingmaker. Pathfinder Kingmaker is the worst game in terms of story that I've ever played, and I've talked about it in the previous podcast, but it's mostly because the writing is overly verbose, the voice acting is that sort of stilted and affected voice acting that sometimes actors will make for video games that is good when it's like moody cutscenes for a Silent Hill game. And it's like very paused, and it's like very, he said a sentence, and in 10 seconds later somebody else says that. Well, obviously it's not 10-second pauses in that game, but those are very long texts spoken very slowly. And every once in a while there's somebody who coughs. Every once in a while there's somebody who laughs. And the voice actors I'm sure they're trying their best, but they're not, clearly not very professional. I'm not attacking their work. I'm attacking, it's obvious that they're not like AAA voice actors, and that's beside the point. Really, the problem with the story of Pathfinder Kingmaker is that it never goes anywhere. Everything feels like a side quest. There's no memorable characters. All of your companions are bad, except for the one who is also evil, but not bad. So if you know what I mean. There's that. The only character that you care for is an evil person. So, or that I care for anyway. It obviously is just my opinion, but I thought that game, and then it ended with a boss. You were talking about that before, Keith, about bosses that show up only at the end.
Yeah,
guess what?
Oh, that's the game.
Guess what? That game has the final boss it feels like a side quest because you barely deal with her throughout the whole game. You recurrently deal with her throughout the whole game, but it's very side questy. And then you go up and fight, and then there's an extra boss at the end that is the real boss, and you're like, ugh. And he's so entitled. He's so self-entitled. And he's like, I might be wrong on this, but he pulls a "you're not so different, you and I."
We are not so different, you and I.
I think he says that.
Yeah.
In the middle of his, it's level. I'm.
Imagine.
I don't know what's up with that game, but there it is. That's another rant of Pathfinder Kingmaker from me. Thank you very much.
Imagine spending hours of your life trying to save the world, and the guy shows up and is like, "You aren't so different," or "You aren't so different, you and I." It's like,
I'm the one trying to stop you, and you're the one that's you. So bad.
I don't even remember what his motivation was.
I
need to go back and watch.
If that's the case, then why the fuck am I here? If we're the same, then I wouldn't be here to stop you.
I don't know. I think it's like a shorthand. For some writers to try to make, I don't know, try to get the players to think a little or something. Like literally think of any boss whatsoever in any game, any boss whatsoever. You can always find like a point of connection between that boss and their motivations and the player. A point, even if it is just, I was born in a village like you, or I like people as well. I have a cat, whatever. There's always connections. And what the writers do is they pick that connection that always exists, stronger or weaker. They pick that and they have the boss go, "We're not so different, you and I." And every time games do that, I just... and sometimes I'm not like, that's not an indictment on any game. Some good games do that as well. I think Mass Effect 1 does that.
That's half of the confrontations with the Joker.
See, it's like you can do good things with that. It's fine. It's just in a game.
But the Joker is a
full of
literal
nothing.
like insane person.
We have a
Everything he says
symbiotic
is-
relationship.
Everything he says is mostly just out of
Actually, but in the case of the Joker, like his whole character, sometimes not in every work, but sometimes his whole character is supposed to be sort of a mirror image of the Batman.
Yeah, no,
in
he's
some
actually
aspects.
designed to be that way. That's what Killing Joke and so on go into that specifically.
Yeah.
No, but you brain blasted me by bringing up stupid villains that come out of nowhere and ruin the story. The game I was trying to mention earlier was Final Fantasy Type 0.
Oh god.
Which is a game where it's like, it's like Avatar, you guys. There's 4 kingdoms that are at war, and look at them go. And the whole story is about that until the final chapter, where out of nowhere, Sid, spoilers, I guess, for the worst Final Fantasy ever made. Fucking Sid, a character that's not a character, comes out of nowhere and like nukes the world, and then you got to go fight him because he's God now, and he's the villain. And you're like, who? What?
Wow.
What's happening? In the whole final chapter is in like a weird nonsense dimension place that makes no sense, and you sacrifice all of your 13 characters one by one to defeat Sid, who is God for some reason in this one. And then the game's like, oh no, maybe if you beat the game a second time, it'll make sense that time or whatever. It tries to pull like a fucking Nier. And it's like, fucking Nier at least was coherent the first time you played it. Jesus Christ. If you just leave me hating you, then I'm not going to want to replay the game to like, maybe my weird amount of faith I put in you will be paid off. It's like, this game wasn't fun. And the story was bad, and the story you spent the whole game setting up doesn't pay off because you just stopped telling it.
And also exploded it with a bomb.
What also reminded me of that is fucking Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5's ending is not set up at all, except for like people try to excuse it being like, oh, there's one radio broadcast you can hear sometimes when you're in a truck, maybe that suggests that maybe this will happen, but it's like the game already had a shitty story because you're just like, it's a good go fight all the stupid kids, this cult leader that are all irritating, and they all like fucking give the same monologue to you over and over again. Then you shoot them and they're dead. But then you go deal with the cult leader, and it's like, and then nukes drop, and the game ends. And it's like, what? Just fucking nukes drop. Yeah. Like the nukes. Yeah, he didn't fire the nukes. The nukes aren't set up by the story. Just the game just ends in a nuclear holocaust, and then the spin-off sequel is like the post-apocalypse after the nuclear holocaust. It's like, that doesn't function as an ending. It had nothing to do with anything that happened. And also of course, while I'm scrolling through the games, Y2K is also an incredibly asinine, horrible story where almost every character is completely unlikable the entire game. They actively don't make sense. The game's accidentally seems to be revealing of the writer, because the writer seems to be this immature self-involved narcissist that like vaguely is aware they're a shitty person and need to grow but don't know what growth looks like, so they wrote a character who is a mirror of themselves as a self-insert that then has a character arc but doesn't have a character arc. They just say he did. Like, wow, you're so much like better and more mature now or whatever the fuck, but like the fucking Alex in Y2K never becomes a better person in any way in the entire game, and he just gets rewarded for not changing by the game just saying he changed by lying to us. And like people that hated him suddenly fall for him by the end of the game, and they're like kissing and shit, and I'm like, he did nothing changed, what the fuck is this part? And then on top of everything, like incredibly, like the last like month of the game is like suddenly a calendar is added to the game for the first time. Like there was no day schedule in that game, but suddenly in the final act there is a day schedule, and you keep doing one thing per day and interacting with all these different all the characters in your party and hanging out and whatnot and trying to like grow as people or like grow closer or just like a lot of them are just random conversations that just are there to fill, but it's kind of nice to have maybe especially if you like the characters more than the game allowed you to. But then you go to the final confrontation and it's a meant to lose fight, so all of them just die. And then and so you just wasted all this time training all your party members, and none of them mattered. And they also had like the entire final confrontation up to that, reality is warping, so you don't even get to spend the final chapter with the real characters because they're all weird, wacko dimension versions of themselves that are all exaggerated and weird and aren't themselves, and then they all die anyway, so you never see them again. And then when you beat the final boss, finally, you're now dealing with like alternate dimension versions of those characters that aren't any of those people. So it's so like still canonically everyone you've ever known is dead. And everyone you ever mistreated, you never had to apologize to or become a better person to, because you actually did fail and all of reality died, and you at best save a different reality that you don't care about by the end of the game. And it's just so unsatisfying and frustrating. And none of this is done in like the cool way that you like you could imagine in some world where the dumb words I'm saying might be like pulled off by like Kojima in some weird crazy game, but this isn't it. It's just completely underserved and trash and done badly the entire way through. And it's just
I will say that the voice acting put me off a lot of that game. I don't think it helped.
It's not great.
I wish it were just text.
Also, one of the characters can just kill themselves midway through the campaign if you like aren't nice enough to them. 'Cause they're like a really badly written suicidal character. Like it's really badly established in the story, and so they'll just abruptly die off camera if you don't treat them well enough, and they won't be in the ending, which barely matters because the ending obviously doesn't really. Everyone dies anyway. But also the game's so glitchy that he might just come back to life even though you killed him, or he might die even though he's alive. The game doesn't remember its own states very well, so it'll just fuck up and forget whether he's supposed to be alive or not. So he'll randomly just like join in a conversation hours after he died. Like he'll just pop up and say a line, and you're like, "What?" And then he'll be gone again.
Ghosts. Yeah,
but that's fucking. There's no fucking hot takes there. It's not like Fallout 4 where you're shitting on a popular game, or Zero Escape where you're like complaining about a game specifically like praised for its narrative. Y2K is hated by everyone. This is not news.
Which is, I guess, a good sign.
Being bad is the only thing it's known for.
I mean, that's good though. That means he was, he did write a good character.
He made art.
He influenced people. That's what you want. Annoy them and waste their time.
Yes. Influence him to not be that person. That's always a good.
Also, I was thinking specifically about Zero Escape, because yesterday we played golf with your friends, and
how is
and
this
we played
connected?
one. Yeah, because we played the highest rated. What's the word for the Steam Workshop? That's the one. The highest rated Steam Workshop golf course, like mod. It's like a custom made, user made golf course in that game, and it was bad. It was like very convoluted. It was done on purpose to be really complicated, and it's lots of bad. But there is a certain. There's a certain level that you're when you play a game over and over again, and obviously when we're talking about mini golf games, obviously they're meant to be played over and over again. But there's a certain level where you're just so good at a game that you do need a certain level of complexity in gameplay, right? Now, Zero Escape is that, but in storytelling, they want the most extra level of complexity in their storytelling as a consistency. Tonal beat of the storyline. If you go into Zero Escape or 999, although Zero Escape is more, if you go into those games expecting to have plot twists after plot twists and reveals coming out of nowhere, you will not be disappointed. That's what the writers wanted, and I just don't think that's what you want for a blind playthrough. And people, when they play a game, they're doing it blind, so that's not what you want for a game. I don't know. Am I wrong in that?
I don't think so.
That's why I'm saying, like, I'm mixing it with the Mario level that we played yesterday in golf with friends or with your friends, because I get the need for like a really complicated and interchangeable, plot twisty writing style. But you can't pull it off like that.
You're supposed to make it good. You have to put the
even
work in to make it make sense, not just do it for funsies.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not for sure. You need to make, it's difficult and you need to put the work in. But also, the level of twists isn't that high. If you think of a movie with a lot of plot twists, or with one major plot, it's usually one major plot twist or two. Like one of my favorite ones is Shutter Island. I thought it was a good movie.
Knives Out,
and I don't think I've watched it. Shutter Island. Shutter Island has a plot twist more or less at the end, and obviously it's a whodunit kind of movie, so it's already like plot twisty in the middle, but because you don't know. I will. But it's just a twist at the end. It's like Inception. There's a couple of twists here and there, and then a big confrontation.
Yeah, the whole problem with the twist is it's supposed to recontextualize basically everything that's been happening.
But it happens once or twice at most, right?
Yeah, because it's such a massive change to the story that you can't like do it over and over again.
Yeah.
So Zero Escape tries to do it like every hour.
Yeah.
So every hour you find out that everything you think you know about the story is a lie. And it's like, and like, it's so desperate to hit that mark, like every hour, that it actively, it's just a mess. Like the twists don't make sense. Many of them just in a vacuum, get it? Many of them just in a vacuum don't function as a twist, because if you think about it for a moment, you're like, that one can't work that way. But then you have to layer like 30 of them onto each other, and at some point it's actually actively hard to even remember how many twists have happened and what the status of the world is anymore. And then it's just, once you're finally just emotionally numb, then it ends. And it ends by not ending. What a fucking cheap ass thing of being like, this is the one that everyone thinks is the best game. I'm in the Zero Escape series, and it's the one that doesn't have to end. It's like such a fucking cop out. It's like a billion twists that they don't have to pay off, a bunch of things that they don't have to actually explain or finish the story of, and they're like, oh no, we'll finish in some other game maybe. And then everyone hates that game. It's like, that's the one that ends the story that you said you liked. It's like, that's the same story. That game ends so unresolved. It just fucking runs out of game.
Keith, you know exactly what's going on. The world is completely understandable. The rules of it make sense.
500 problems are only escalated up until the end, where it's just like, maybe we'll fix them next game.
It's funny because Virtue's Last Reward feels like it went almost comically too big. Like, the first game is kind of like, all right, that's a little much to believe, but I can do it. You know, like, I can suspend my disbelief enough to go like, sure, I guess you guys happen to build this land Titanic. But, like, Virtue's Last Reward,
but there's so many layers after that.
It's too much. It goes too far. It goes like, what if we built a mining colony in space? And you're like, I'm going to fucking ask you to stop, because this doesn't make any sense. Like, how the fuck did you do this? Who paid for all this? What do you mean there's like... everything is just so ridiculous that, like, you look at one and you go, wait, wasn't this whole thing just about, like, solving face blindness? What the fuck happened here? How did this get so out of control?
I forgot about the face blindness.
That's the whole fucking plot. That's the whole fucking reason you're literally dying.
Half the plot points will just get retconned anyway.
That's true. That's fair.
It's like, is it this random rich asshole, or is it actually a cult the whole time? Woo.
Or both.
Or so many different aspects.
A guy literally fucking died.
The first game's cliffhanger doesn't matter because it gets retconned immediately.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't mean anything. It was not real.
But I think, like, the thing is, we play games, especially, this happens a lot in games, but it also happens in movies, where we see details and the game doesn't explain. The games tend not to over-explain things too much if they're, like, action-oriented, or if they're if they're simplistic in the writing style, because they could be just, voiceovers or whatever.
The Bouncer is I just finished doing my 3 playthroughs of the Bouncer, and by the third one, I'm having a breakdown because I'm just sitting here like, Not a single thing anyone does in this entire game makes sense, and none of their behaviors or their plans, like none of their behaviors further their plans. I don't know why this scene happened, like, because the game makes you play it 3 times, and it's like, it got me there it's only a 2-hour game, and just playing that 2-hour game 3 times got me into like Zero Escape territory. Like, this is just a type of game where games just lose their fucking minds.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I would be nearly as mad at Zero Escape if it wasn't so like positively talked about.
Yeah, because that gets confusing. You're like, what?
Like, yeah, if it was like, if Zero Escape had the same amount of vitriol as like Rise of Skywalker gets, then I would have been like, oh, okay, like, you know, yeah, I get why you guys are mad. It's really shitty. All right, moving on. But having people like literally like, no, this is a masterpiece.
It feels like you're playing Y2K, except the societal expectations are inverted, and so you're the weird one for not liking it. And you're like, what?
Yeah, it feels very confusing, and especially when within every part of your body that whoever says positive things is wrong. Like you know they cannot be true. They have to be lying, because like every time we've done this, we did this, like the whole playthrough is us doing this to people where it's like, wait, why the fuck did she mention Ice 9? This isn't relevant at all. Like, this isn't gonna come up. Like, this never came up.
So
this was never. This point was like such a fucking waste because it never mattered at all to the story. And
it mattered a little.
No, it mattered
not at the end.
0%. It mattered literally no % of the time.
Well, it was the mummy that you spent like a half an hour talking about, and it never happened. It never comes up in any way, and it's at best all set up for the end of game cliffhanger screen that then gets retconned immediately, and also like, doesn't matter.
You deal with like the annoyance of like,
if you're making a dense twist-filled narrative.
You deal with the annoyance of shit like, how did you not recognize your own coworker's fucking voice? Like, even if you have face blindness, how do you just like, how does that fucking go away from your memory? Are you fucking insane? And like, how did you think that children are gonna do this for you? How did someone exist in a timeline where they failed? How the fuck does that work? Like, you can't.
While the entire game series leans on the crutch of the idea that, like, well, actually, the entire game was organized by somebody who could tell what was going to happen every step of the way in advance because they've already lived it over and over again. So every single every single plot contrivance of the game that is like, how the fuck did you know that incredibly specific that character was going to do an incredibly specific thing to that exact character at that exact time, and then that's the only way the whole plot could happen, which happens like every 5 minutes. Oh, it's because I'm a prophet. I knew everything. It's like, cool. The entire story is arbitrary because somebody knew it would happen. It was all their master plan. It's like fucking asinine.
It doesn't get better with the second game, though.
No, it gets worse.
It gets worse.
It gets even worse.
Somehow it literally gets worse. Like, because here's the thing. Here's the fucking thing
because they do it
Zero
again,
Escape.
but harder and for longer.
Yeah,
but
also stupider because like in the first Zero Escape game, the threat, the only threat was that when you go through the doors, like you may not be able to see somebody on the other side. But literally after several doors, we find that's to never be the case. Literally ever has no one ever gone through the door and died on the other end of it because they went through the door, unless their number was incorrect. And so so Virtue's Last Reward had to be like, well, that was too easy. So now you gotta pick who you gonna kill. And it's like, this is so much easier to avoid. Just don't do that. Literally don't fucking pick the right thing.
There's the extra level of frustration that's unique to the sequel, which is that you know the plot twist of the first game, and you know that that's still going to be happening in this game, and it's all canon, and the rules are still the same in a lot of ways. But you have to deal with an entire cast of characters that will not know any of those things for 85% of the playthrough.
Except
so you're just
fucking
being frustrated
Clover,
the whole
who
time.
was there the whole fucking time, and she just fucking forgot. Like, Jesus Christ.
She did forget. Yeah, that's unbelievable.
This is a game where it's worth noting that Clover is the character that is in both games and has the most tragic scenes throughout both games and so on. and she keeps having to react to people's tragic deaths and so on, and the people she cares about, and bad stuff happening. And the whole time her face is glitched, so she's always smiling. And they never fixed it, even in the re-releases of the game. They never fixed her face being glitched out, so she's always smiling.
Fucking
even when she's
this crying. Game, like I fucking hate it.
My partner and bestest friend has died horribly. Like, she's only smiling the whole game. And they've re-released the game multiple times across several platforms. And not only did they never patch it on the original version, they never patched it when they re-released it to sell it again on like PC and everything else.
Can you imagine the level of lack of effort for you not to patch something like that?
And people defend the shit. It's like the fucking people that defend Sonic games, which we somehow never mentioned in this episode. Because, oh my god, Sonic gameplay is a thing. Well, like, Sonic games are infamously incomplete and broken, and like specifically known for the fact that the development cycle was so trash and bad and rushed that they just gave up and shipped it at some point. And even those games will get defended vehemently by just asinine people.
If not for the fact that I had an actual good, legitimate example to use for like if for inverse for like my favorite boss fight, my most hated boss fight is the fucking boss in Sonic and the fucking White Knight or whatever.
Sonic and the Black Knight, where you fight
Sonic and the Black Knight
on
and
horseback.
You fight that fucking asshole on the fucking horse, which literally 4 people could not fucking do. Like several of this game is made for
specifically,
babies.
We could basically do the fight, but then Sonic would jump up in the air and do some sort of like quick time event where you had to like react in time or do a gesture or something. And yeah, 4 of us all sitting on a couch, none of us could figure out how to do it. None of us could. You would just jump up in the air and lose every time, and then you'd have to start the whole boss fight over. And it's like no one could figure out how to do it.
No, yeah, and we gave up. Like we couldn't do it. We had to stop. And like I don't know, man. Sonic is a mess. I don't like to choose Sonic as like any part of bad games though, because like they're made that way. No one makes like since Sonic's been in 3D, no one has ever made a Sonic 3D game and gone like, oh, this is gonna be good. Like I do not believe you. I do not believe there's a single person in the fucking entire studio that was like, this is going to be a good game. Because you can't legitimately feel that way especially when you are looking at this game. Like Sonic Adventure had a plot point where Robotnik was going to nuke a fucking city. Like that was literally the plot. He was going to murder, potentially genocide thousands of people.
Is that with the one with the princess, that cutscene that's weird?
No, that's Sonic Adventure 2, which is another one where he's going to genocide the entire planet. Like, again, guys, this is a little much for a game about a stupid, rebellious blue hedgehog that goes, too slow. Like, fucking Robotnik's like, I finally got my egg star, my Death Star thing, and its nose is a beam that will destroy the planet. And it's like...
And also, that's against what Sonic is about. Like, if you play the first 4 Sonics, it's just about the rise of industry and you fighting against machines.
Sonic CD was a much more tamed down version of this, which you have the egg Death Star, and it's it's the egg moon. Sorry, it's the egg moon, and it's hilariously chained down to the planet, which is a fucking great fantasy element. I love it. And you have Sonic running up the chain to go destroy this industrial moon hell. And that's cool. That's great. Totally good. You don't have, like, Robotnik wasn't like, I'm going to drop this fucking moon on the planet and destroy Mobius. He wasn't like, I'm going to...
he's just making smoke up there.
I'm going to shoot nukes out of its butthole into the planet. He just was like, I'm going to keep fucking up this planet on my little moon station until someone stops me. Easy. Bad guy, done. Like... It's an unnecessary amount of weird to like all the 3D Sonics are always this weird extra step of like what is it, like Sonic 06 is like Robotnik shows up and is like, all right, I'm gonna destroy like the multiverse, and you're like, what the fuck did you just say to me? Like Sonic 06 has multiverses, like they're time traveling into different dimensions.
Oh, right. I remember. I mean, I didn't play it, but I've seen it. Yeah.
That's where whatever his fucking name is.
Shadow and the
not Shadow,
Metal
the
Sonic.
fucking white guy, the white hedgehog.
The metal, isn't it metal? The metal
Silver.
No, Silver. Silver's like from a different time or dimension or something, and you're like, what the fuck is going on in this game? And Robotnik just again shows up and just starts murdering people, and you're like, this is weird. Sonic kisses a girl. Why? How the fuck? Who did this? Who's here? Sonic Forces just has like Robotnik literally genociding the planet, and Knuckles goes, "Yeah, that's too bad though." Guys,
Ever since he killed
guys.
Sonic. Sorry, I'm not used to saying that.
it's like,
Oh no, that's so
we're gonna have fun. Just have fun. It's a Sonic game. Jesus
I'll never
Christ.
get over that dark line from Knuckles being in the same scene as our created character walking in and being a monstrosity, which is a highlight.
You made the game so much better. You made the game so much better with that.
Oh, that was a fun highlight to edit to revisit.
He's a beautiful emote on our on Keith's Discord too. What a beautiful little
Yes.
terrifying
He's had
monstrosity.
fan art.
He's had fan art. He's just at the end of the game. We gave him all gold shit. He just looked like he looked like the most comically stupid fucking character. And the game treated it so fucking seriously. Like we're at the end of the game, and Sonic's there, and everyone else is there, and like 15 of the same colored fucking dog people are there. And
It's
we're
really
just
funny
like,
that it's also just funny that it's like so many years come past between each Sonic game coming out. Like that's still the most recent official Sonic game that's by Sonic Team or whatever. And we played that playthrough was 3 years ago.
did that come out with the same time as Mania?
Yeah, it was like the same month as Mania. And Mania was like not the real team. It was like modders that they hired to make a game for them, and they did a better job.
Yeah, they were like, please somebody make a good Sonic game. They're like,
our
all
Sonic
right.
Forces was 3 years ago. That's back when we were recording in your place and everything. Like, that's so long ago, and they haven't made a new one since. And reminder, that game wasn't even 5 hours long.
No, it
We
wasn't.
beat it in one day.
Yeah, we did beat it in one
And
sitting.
it feels like there's so much story in Sonic Forces. They really need to
It does?
Just
What?
calm
Where?
down.
Is there?
Yeah, what I mean, there's so many cutscenes that they're going about. Oh no, this happens and this happens and this happens.
Well,
Just
yeah,
cool
but
down.
that's why the game was so short, because it was all fucking cutscenes.
They should have good mechanics and interesting levels. That's what Sonic is
God,
about.
I'm just like looking like
I just hope the character creator is here to stay.
it's unfair to point at Sonic games as being bad anything, because again, you cannot go into a Sonic game and reasonably expect it to be good. Like Unleashed, Lost World, Adventure, fucking Forces, like these
We
are
still
all
got to finish
garbage.
playing all the remaining Sonic games.
Like what?
We've got to play. I have Colors. I have Sonic
Colors?
Heroes. I think I have two different console versions of Sonic Heroes. I have Sonic and the Secret Rings. I went out and I made a point to collect as many of them as I could for our future together.
I hate Sonic games. I mean,
We haven't played a single
more,
Sonic game for like 3 years.
It's wow. And in that time, I've only become healthier mentally.
Yeah. How do we get both of us to just unmove?
Move.
Really convenient being a mile apart.
Yeah, it did make it a lot easier to record when you could like walk to the other person's house.
I literally just walk
Yeah.
to your house, we record for a few hours, and then I'd walk home.
Well, we could find a way to make it so that maybe houses in this state didn't cost cost more money than like giving
We just
birth
gotta
to
all move
17
to
children.
Portugal.
Yeah, we have cakes.
I gotta move to Portugal.
All right, that's enough for today. Send your questions to dialogchoicespodcast@gmail.com. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.